Johns here.
Hey there, Pete Johns here. That was me. 5 years ago, on the 1st of February 2016, I released the first ever video here on Studio Live today. And in this video, we are going to talk all about it. Yeah, we're getting a little bit self-serving, aren't we? We're going to talk about the start of the channel, why I created it, what I've learned along the way. And the hope here is not just that I'm going to be here and be self-congratulating for the next 2 hours, but that hopefully it's going to show you that we've had mistakes along the way. We've learned as we've gone. There's going to be some embarrassing stuff. There's going to be some pretty dodgy stuff. We're going to go into the archives, some unreleased videos that you've never seen before, and some from the very early days, as well as saying thank you to a bunch of folks who have helped along the way. But first of all, I want to thank you for being here, because if you are here, then you are awesome, and you are no doubt someone who's supporting this channel. And you know what? If you stumbled across this and it's your first time ever here, welcome. This is a community where my goal for the last 5 years has been to help you create, record, and release your best music. And we've been doing that through tips and tricks and tutorials, live videos just like this one for all of that time. Now, a couple of things before we get underway. If you do want to leave a message to be read out on the show, and I really should have checked this beforehand to make sure that this link was working, but let's check it right now. studiolivetoday.com/5, F-I-V-E. If it's working correctly, it should take you, it has. It'll take you to this page here, so you can actually throw your message in there, and if you've got a shout out, if you've got something you want to say, then I will make sure that we jump to those. About halfway through, we'll jump in and we'll do that. It'll be like do weddings have like telegrams anymore, where they read out funny telegrams from people that they've sent? The people that John in Whyalla couldn't be here today, but he and Carol send their best wishes, and they'd just like to say, don't go too hard on that first night. Yeah, something like that. We also have a bit of fun around here, don't we? We don't take things too seriously. And when I say we, I mean me, because weirdly, one thing I did notice going through the archives is that I used the word we very much early on. I'm like, hi, my name's Pete Johns, and we here at Studio Live today. I'm like, I thought I was going to be more important sounding if it sounded like I had a team of professionals behind me and we're all doing it together. Not the case. It's me. It's just me. The other thing that we've got here is I've got some promo codes. So if you do want to get some, I'm wearing the OG. See, it's so OG, it doesn't even have the red in the logo there. This is the first ever Studio Live Today t-shirt that I ever bought, that I ever made for myself with the logo. It's a medium, which is why I've got about 10 kilos of COVID sitting under here. So I probably need to get, but yeah, if you want to pick one up, you can go to studiolivetoday.com/merch. And I got two promo codes. Gimme5, GIMME5 will get you $5 off. And if you're in the US and you want free delivery, just put Pete Pays, PETEPAYS. So if you do want to get some Studio Live Today merch, you can do that. Hello. Oh, we got so many people here. I'm going to have to say a quick hello. Bubba's caught my attention because Bubba says this. Bubba says, here's five for five. There you go. $5 super chat for 5. I look forward to 10. Good on you, Pete. Thanks for what you do and your community has done for me. Mean it. Thank you, my friend Bubba. Bubba's a bit of a legend around the Studio Live Today community, and everyone loves it. Bubba's like the norm of Studio Live Today, where he walks into the bar and everyone's like, Bubba! It's like, Norm! Cheers fans amongst you? Yeah. So who have we got here? Oh, they've got a lot of people. Langston Reese, Michael, a.k.a. Zillan Band, Friggsy's here, Huska's here, SM Borthwick, thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate the congratulations. Hello, Scott. Hello, Mark. Hello, Alex Bacchus. Hello to Ed Z over there. We've got Gary Hub, Gaza, give Jade her lawnmower back. Patrick Chandler is here. Yeah, kicking it old school. Yeah, that was what you saw at the start there was the very first. We'll talk about it more. We'll talk about what goes on. Bob, hello to you. Thank you for being here. Scrolling on down. Jade Star, happy 5 years. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Kirsten, Lady Helpish in the house. Thank you for being here. Who haven't I said g'day to you? The GarageBand guide, Patrick. I promised myself I wouldn't do any Patrick impersonations, but there you go. I did. Darren Daniluk, thank you for being here. We've got Aaron Carson, who is here in the stream. Scrolling down to see if we can get to everyone. Lady Rhodaline Straight, thank you. Whoop, missed you. There you are. Too many chats, and I can't quite get to them all. Thank you for being here. Jade says, I hate channels who say we. I know. Especially when you just know that it's just one person, like it is for me. Ian, hello to you. Gerard Voss, thank you. You are going pro by now. Well, professional just means you're being paid for something, Gerard. So anyone who's ever put something on DistroKid and made like 5 cents on their first stream, you're a professional. Hello to Joe Glenn, the wonderful Joe Glenn, one of my amazing Patreons who's supporting me here on the channel. We've got Abdazek. Abduitz Zek. I'm very sorry. I'm bad with pronunciation, and it's already been a long day. Frigsy, hello to you, and thank you for being here. You've taken it. Well, there's no message in that super chat. I appreciate it, my friend. I appreciate it, and thank you, Frigsy. Another one of our wonderful patrons here, Maury P. Hello to you as well. Oh, that was the biggest, longest intro ever, but I did want to make sure I called out every single person, and including Derek Smith, for being here, because, yeah, I appreciate all of you, and we're going to have some fun. So let's jump into it, shall we? Let's get into this, because what we're going to do is we're going to go back in time. We're going to start in February of 2016. So I started this channel on a whim. I was sitting at the cricket. I'm a big cricket fan. If you know me, I like my sport. Sitting at the cricket, and I'm like, I want to register a domain. I want to do something with music, and I wonder what words I could combine together to make something memorable, but also that hasn't already been taken. And I'm just like, what about Studio Live? And I'm like, studiolive.com. Yeah, studiolive.com is taken. What about like another word like three? I was all about threes back then. I'm like, what about something like studio live? What? And it took me a while. I'm just sitting there watching cricket, drinking a beer in the sunshine. Studio Live Today. That's got a ring to it. Studiolivetoday.com. It's available. Hover.com, boom, registered it. And the domain was registered in, I believe it was December 2015. And then, February 2016, created the channel. It was just called Pete Johns, but I decided I would put Studio Live Today to work, had studiolivetoday.com, and then the rest, as they say, is history. But we'll be going through and talking through what happened after that and giving you a bit of the backstory here. Bye-bye. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'd expect there. And thank you to Jade for the super chat as well. Jade Star, my right-hand lady here on the channel, who does a wonderful job here moderating the channel and has a channel of her own. So this is the cool thing. I'm not saying that, I was the sole inspiration for Jade, but it's wonderful to see folks like Jade and folks like Thomas Christ creating their own channel, to see people like Gary and Mark and Russ and Derek and Frigsy and everyone who's here, Lady Rodeline, everyone at SM Borthwick, all these folks who are creating, recording and releasing music. And again, it's you. It's not me, it's you. But if I can play any part in helping you create, record and release your best music, I want to do it. Anyway, let's jump on over here because where's my tab? Still getting my handle on this Mac. Definitely haven't perfected the art of the Mac. Let's come over here because I've got some links here. And by the way, all of these are down in the description. So if you see any of these, and I won't play all of every one, obviously, but if you want to relive the glory, no, that's not right. If you want to relive the fun and excitement of some of these videos afterwards, you can go down to the description. They are all linked down there. But why don't you and I jump over here and catch a little bit of this? We'll watch that intro again because it's iMovie-tastic. Like you can see there, that's that classic iMovie filter with the green and reddy color. I can't even remember what that's called, but the retro filter on there. And even the title is one of those iMovie titles. I shot this on my iPhone 5S. You can see here it stars my Focusrite Scarlett 2i2, which is still plugged into my Mac right now, 5 years later. And if you look carefully, you might notice that it's not GarageBand that I actually show, because the idea of this channel wasn't to be just GarageBand. That kind of came organically, as we'll find out in a moment. So let's jump in and take a look and a listen at classic Studio Live Today intro. There, Pete Johns here from Studio Live Today, and I wanted to take you through a crash course in how to use the Music Memos app, which is the latest music creation tool from Apple, available for the iPhone and iPad. So let's jump in and get started. The excitement is just overwhelming, isn't it? the amazing and the delivery and the yeah, welcome. In another video I did just after this, I'm like, oh, hi, my name's Pete Johns from Studio Live today, and I'm really excited to bring you this video today. I sound like I'm the least excited human being on the planet. It's a lot of fun. So Tom Rochelle, thank you. Congrats on the 5 years. Thank you for your inspiration, education, and even a few laughs. M and carrots, yeah. You know what? We've had fun. We have various random memes. There's all sorts of things that go on here in the channel, and I love having you folks here. I think you have more fun than I do most of the time, and there's a lot of things that go on that I completely miss in the live shows in the chat here. So yeah, thank you all for being awesome, and thank you for the super chat. I really do appreciate it, because let's do the joke, shall we? This is what it looks like here without your support and without you doing what you do here, and you keep the lights on here in Studio Live today studios. Hello to Andy, who snuck in here as well when we weren't looking. Yeah, we got the throwback. Bob says it reminds him of early ESPN. Yeah, it was 2016, but it could have been 2001 for how it looked. I was a little bit rusty on my production, but again, this is what I'm saying. Document. Just start creating now with whatever you had. So to give you the background here. Indeed. To give you a background here, this was shot on an iPhone 3GS? 3GS. So iPhone 3GS is doing the work here. So 720p camera, no problem. Didn't have any lighting. I'm using my iPhone 5S, which was my most modern iPhone at the time. And I just stuck the camera up there. It was hovering using like a dodgy mic stand, I think. It was just hovering there, shot over my shoulder. Built-in mic on the iPhone 3GS, shooting the iPhone, no, it was a 4, sorry, it wasn't a 3GS. I thought it was a bit older. It was iPhone 4 shooting an iPhone 5S. Let's just take another minute's listen to me explaining this. And I love some of the apps I've got here too. I still have the Ultimate Guitar app there. AD483 was like one of the very early AUV3 plugins. I think it was an EQ plugin. Spire, the old recording app. Rhythm Pad. Like, there's a lot of these old school apps. It's fun to see what I had on there. Let's take another listen for another minute of this. When you load up the app, you'll notice that it's a very simplistic interface. It's got a little blue light there ready for you to press and start recording. So what we're going to do is I'll hit the button and record a quick riff, and then I'll take you through the options of how we can craft our song. No editing note. All one take. We'll just let that run in the background and see if anything fun comes up or if I do anything. Notice I'm not showing my face at this point. And as Tom says, this was 100% it. This is in my notes here to talk about, because it was secretly recording videos in the dark after everyone went to bed, Tom. It was exactly that. It was recording early in the morning and late at night when no one was around. Can anyone relate to this? With your music, with your video creation, with anything you want to do? I was embarrassed. I was legitimately embarrassed. You got to think that 5 years ago, YouTube content creation was not a really legit. I mean, it was sort of, but it wasn't really a legitimate thing. And for someone that was, a sales manager for an energy company to want to suddenly start creating videos about music creation, it was a weird thing, and it wasn't the normal thing to do. And not that I need to worry about that. And I think the thing is that as I've done more of this, one thing it has taught me is not to value or worry about what other people are thinking about and what other people think of what you do, especially strangers on the internet. If you're going to get one thing out of this, don't worry about what strangers on the internet have to say. Let's take it out to some other folks who've jumped on in here. We've got Deep Gravity. Thank you to you. Thank you, my friend. I'm going to try again. Akbadeep Zek. No, I'm very sorry, but I'll always try. John Kale in the house. Thank you for being here, John. John is I credit John a lot, and I'm going to miss a bunch of people talking today. So hopefully you're all here. Hopefully folks are here, and I can give you credit. But John is one of the brains behind the SongSpark group, and I joined the SongSpark group 3 years ago, and I created probably 12 or 13 songs using as part of SongSpark, and it's really been an inspiration. It's really helped me create music. So thank you, John, and thanks for being here. Brian Spalding, thank you for being here. Valium FM. Every time I see your name, I think of goats, because Valium was a big fan of my song Goats back in the day. We'll talk about that as we get through a few more. Thank you to Mark. Mark says, don't change yourself, my friend. I'll certainly try not to. This is a community that you've built and who you taught to. Great 5 years, Pete. Hoping for many more. Well, thank you, Mark. I will still always know you as Metallion. Even though every time I see your name, I keep thinking Metallion, which was your old alter ego. But yes, Metallion or Mark. Either way, thank you for all of your support. Scott, RIP to Music Memos. I know, right? Yeah, Music Memos was the first thing I did, as you're seeing here, and it's no longer being updated or supported by Apple, which is sad. Sad face, yeah? Absolutely. What else have we got that I've missed? Hello, Barry. Barry Glenn in the house. The other half of the Glenn dynasty. Thank you for being here, Barry. Deep Gravity, 100% relate. Yeah, the recording in the dark when everyone's gone to bed. Seriously, if you listen to something, you'll hear them. We'll just move on. We'll hear that, yeah, some of my first ones that I've created, yeah, I'm almost whispering because I don't want anyone to be able to hear me. And I'd literally hear like something moving outside. I'm like, oh, someone's up. And I just quickly record. And they walk in and I just look like I was a deer in headlights. They're like, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing. Yeah, a bit of that. Right. So let's talk about 2016, shall we? So that was my first video, all about music memos. What happened from there? So I made my first GarageBand video soon after. So let's jump in and take a look at that. It's going to play the. I won't subject you to the intro every single time. Otherwise, yeah. But this was the first GarageBand video, the first video that ever got over 1,000 views, which I mean, it only had maybe 100 back in 2016, but over time it's slowly grown. And this is where I sort of thought that, hey, GarageBand might be a cool little niche to make videos about. I might try and do more of that. So we'll hit play on this one. Won't subject you to the intro there, but yeah, you can see my Marshall amp. Let's turn them all up to 11, hey? Let's press buttons and let's use our iMovie logo. But here I am
with a quick tip for GarageBand for iPhone, and this is how to set up the number of bars and sections that you want in your new song. And this is one of the hardest sort of features to find within.
Look at that
GarageBand.
wobble.
So
you can see the wobble because it's just sitting on a mic
now.
stand.
So let's start a new song by going plus and create
the resolution on that
we'll
screen.
Select the keyboard for now.
Oh, who misses old GarageBand?
So you can see that we've
browser.
defaulted to 8 bars. So
Love
any new GarageBand track that you record will default to 8 bars. If we want to change.
So the reason that I made this video first is that this was legitimately the thing that took me the longest time to get into GarageBand, was the fact that I thought you could only create 8 bars. It took me a long time to realize there was that little plus button in the top right corner that you could actually change the number of bars. And I think I was surprised. Like, a lot of other people came to me and said, oh, I would use GarageBand, but you can only create 8-bar loops, can't you? And I was like, oh, no, you can't. You can do this. And I'm like, oh, if I didn't know this and if I was stuck with this, maybe a bunch of other people would be. And as it turned out, they were indeed. So, yeah, but oh, look at that. Look at that old, like those buttons. Those old, like, 3-dimensional buttons back when Apple wanted things to look 3D. Now they want everything to be flat. Everything has to be completely flat now, yeah. But good times. Robeck Vids recently subscribed and working through all your vids. Excellent channel up. Thank you. Welcome aboard. Welcome to the community. There's a lot of wonderful people around here, and I'm sure you'll have a good time. Had a Rob B. It's all the Robs dropping in. I did just send out a tweet and I just said, anyone called Rob, please come here. And yeah, the wood panel decals. Like, how good were they, Gary, back in the day? I know we're gonna get a bit all nostalgic and retro here, but yeah, how good were those wood panel? And that phone still exists. That iPhone 5S is now my daughter's phone. So yeah, it is continuing on. It lives, and my daughter is still using that and still enjoying using that phone. Alrighty. And yes, Tom says they don't make it obvious, and they still haven't made it obvious with that teeny tiny plus button in the corner. It just looks crazy, doesn't it? All right, so the first year here, that was my first GarageBand video. 3 of my first 4 videos, though, were about music memos, which was kind of weird, and that was mainly because music memos had just been released, and I couldn't find any tutorials online. So I thought, I'm just going to make them. I'll make the music. I'll be the music memos guy, and that was the first thing I did. Now, my first sort of really, I guess, successful video was on the back of GarageBand 2.1 being released. Oh, it's gone to the wrong screen. Hang on, hold the line a moment. We'll just bring this one over to the other window. So once again, we've got the intro there, that one there. Excuse me a moment. We've got the intro there. We'll just play this without the sound. So this was automation. So we didn't have automation in GarageBand prior to GarageBand 2. Was it 2.1 or 2.2? Was it 2.1? So this was before 2.2, so we still didn't have plugins, we still didn't have effects and EQ, but we did have automation. And this is where I kind of started making more fun videos where I'm like, I just want to create some music and have some fun. So let's take a quick look and a listen at this one, shall we?
Is automation. Now, if you've ever used a DAW or a digital audio workstation on a PC or a Mac or some other platform, you'll be familiar with automation. And what automation can do on GarageBand for iPhone is help you control the volume of your tracks. So I have a track here which is a bit of a dance track, and I'll just play a little bit of that. So it starts with some drum and bass, and then down here at bar 9.
Anyway, we go ahead and we explain automation, and I know most of you would have done automation and know all about it. So we're not. You can go and check it out if you want. It is, and the cool thing is, it is actually still it's still relevant. Like, it's still exactly the same as it was then to use automation. You'll notice there that, again, the audio is all just on the built-in microphone of the iPhone 4 that was shooting this, and it was all done on the iPhone 5, just zoomed in. And you know what? It's not that it doesn't hold up, yeah? You can see what I'm doing. It's pretty clear. And as I go through and sort of start showing that, I mean, the colors are not exactly right and what they would be, but it was a start. And the thing was, as I was creating videos, I was learning every time. I was just doing it. Yeah, that was Techno Pete. Techno Pete for sure. Professional hater in the house. Hello to you. I'm just I'll say g'day to people. Stu Cash is here. Greg Hernandez, who I don't think I said g'day to, and I think I saw Stu Cash. Yes, there he was. And Dean Thomas, I think I saw you, but I can't find your name now. But hello to you all. Thanks for being here. So that was the sort of the start of everything. Then I kind of took a bit of time off. So while I'm doing all of this, so as you probably know if you've been following the channel, I was also working a full-time job. So in 2016 and then into 2017, I was working a full-time job at the same time as doing Studio Live Today. I did that first lot of videos, and then, like most people, I lost the momentum. I lost the energy and I lost the momentum. So between March 2016 and basically the end of the year and the start of 2017, not much went on around here. So that was kind of year one. And we got to the end of year one and we had, I think, about 200 subscribers on the channel, and I had like 10 videos. So it was a start. We were underway, and I had the branding, I had the website, and I had the channel, and that was about it. So it wasn't until 2017, so into year number 2, that something cool happened. And that was that GarageBand version 2.2 was released. Now, if you don't know about GarageBand 2.2 and why it was such a game changer, prior to that, we didn't have any mixing effects or EQ in GarageBand. And when I say we didn't have any, we had the master echo and we had the master reverb, but we didn't have anything else. We didn't have the ability to do any other effects. So when we're looking at mixing effects in GarageBand, there was none. So all these new features, 2.2 was like Alchemy Synth. It was the mixing effects. It was the EQ. It was the multi-take recording. So I'm like, hey, I've got to learn how to use these anyway. I've got that channel sitting over there. Why don't I just make a video about all of these? And that's what I did. And this one here, the how to use the mixing effects in GarageBand iOS, is one that is still to this day generating views, because people are still looking for how to do this and how to actually use this. So you can see here we've updated, we've upgraded, we've got the iPhone 6s Plus now, and we're now shooting on the iPhone 5s. So we're slowly moving up, and this is what I'm always saying is use the gear you have right now to create. Don't wait until you've got the gear, because at that point I didn't have a good camera, I didn't know about lighting, I didn't know about much, but I was just creating and learning as I went. So let's take a listen to 2017 version of Pete. So that's what that one sounds like. Now, in earlier versions, if I wanted to change this sound, I'd be able to press the settings button that used to be up here. I'd go in, I could change a little bit of reverb and echo, I could pan it left and right, I could adjust the volume, and that was about it. So there wasn't a whole lot of options for mixing and changing the sound, and it did sort of limit things within GarageBand. What we have now is basically a full suite of EQ and effects. So I'm going to show you how to get to that right now. If we tap on this little button up here, the little mixer icon, and we'll go on and explain the plugins and EQ and effects. What I did when I was watching these and just getting all the links for this last night, I did notice something, and that is that I did what I actually don't like in YouTube videos. I would spend a lot of time telling you what I am going to tell you. This is my wife's pet peeve, in fact. I would like, in this video, we're going to tell you how to use the effects. And once you know how to use the effects, you'll learn that the effects are a cool thing to use. And when you learn how to use the effects properly, then you can use the effects in your music. And using the effects, like, just show us the freaking effects, man. Really? But yeah, this is the difference. So this is what we used to have. Before 2.2, you just had those. You didn't have any of the plugins and EQ there. You just had compressor, treble, bass, echo, reverb. That was it. Whereas, as I'm about to tap, see, look how long I'm taking. Come on, dude, get into it. Yeah, there you go. Tap it. There. So yeah, we actually had the plugins and effects. You had AUV3 plugins were able to be used then. There was a whole lot of stuff that we added in. As Tom's saying here, that's basically how it looks now. And one of the cool, I mentioned it in GarageBand Weekly today, one of the cool things about now is that it's the same. Like it's almost exactly the same. If I pull up GarageBand on my iPhone XS right now, right here, GarageBand, it's going to look very similar to this. So I've got a project up here, and I'm going back to the track view. It's the same. It's the same mixer icon there, the same plugins and EQ, and we're doing basically the same stuff. So there it is there from 2017, and here it is here in 2021, and it's the same stuff, right? Almost exactly the same. So that's good. Like it's again, as I was saying this morning, it's challenging in terms of we want some new stuff, but it's good because we got that consistency, don't we? So that's very cool. So yeah, Gerard, way past midnight. I know for folks who are over in the UK and Europe, thank you for being here. Yeah, feel free to catch up on the replay. We've got a heap to go through still. So thank you for being here. Jeff Roke, thank you. Greg Hernandez, if I didn't say good day to you yet, and Emmanuel Mattia, thank you. I appreciate you, and hope you and all my friends over there in the US are doing well as well. Let's continue on here and keep talking through 2017. So 2.2 being released was a big year, and it was a big year for me because I started delving into some other things. So to this point, I'd been showing the software, yeah? I've been talking all about GarageBand, music memos. I hadn't really started sharing my hardware, and I started getting a lot of questions about how do you connect up your audio interface to your iPhone or your iPad? How do you connect your guitar? How do you record using a USB microphone? So I thought, I should probably explain and show and start doing tutorials about that. So my very first, in 2017 again, my very first gear video was this one here. And I'll show this one because it's one of the first ones where I'd been on camera a few times, but I didn't have a lot of confidence on camera. Maybe we'll talk more about that later in the show, but I was lacking in confidence and I didn't want to show myself on the camera. It was bad enough hearing my voice and my poor editing skills and bad lighting and bad camera work. I didn't want to do my voice. And this is not, I'm not saying all this to be self-deprecating. Don't worry, I'm cool now, but I just want us to show and I guess to explain that we all go through this stuff, yeah? And it's totally fine. It's totally natural, but just start. Because then you can 5 years time, you can look back and just go, hey, look how much I've learned. Look where I've come from. Whereas if you never do it, you'll never know and you'll never improve. So anyway, so this was my first ever video about hardware. And this was connecting a USB keyboard or piano to an iPhone or iPad for recording in GarageBand. So let's jump in and watch a little bit of this one. And this was the first video that I really did with my DSLR. So I started upping my game with the video quality. So let's take a look at some of Pete's cinematic shots here. Hey, Pete here for Studio Live today, and in this video I'm going to show you how one of these little cables can take your mobile recording to the next level. Bad sound mixing, way too loud on that one. We'll bring it back up. There's that full video. So the cables that I'm talking about are these little suckers here. So these are technically called the camera connection kit from Apple. So this one's for a 30 pin, so the 30 pin adapter with USB on the other side, and this one's the lightning to USB cable, so a little bit less clunky to use. So these things are not cheap, so they're about between $30 and $50 for the genuine versions, depending on where you live and where you're buying them from. Now, as you can see up the top there, at this point, I sort of started learning more about YouTube. So I was starting to add in these little cards to pop up so that it would link to other videos that people would be watching. Started learning about like creating watch funnels where someone will learn how to do this, and then they'll learn how to record MIDI keys, and then they'll learn how to use GarageBand. And that's kind of where I got to the stage where I'm like, my goal here is I want to help people create, record, and release their best music. And I wasn't even thinking, I wasn't monetized at this point. point because it wasn't even something that I was thinking about, as in making money from YouTube videos. So I was just sharing what I was actually using and how I was using it. But it sort of did spark that. And around this time was kind of the YouTube boom and the content creator boom that happened around 2017. So I thought, hey, well, you know what? I might as well jump on that. It's like releasing your music. You might as well jump on that. If someone's going to make some revenue from you streaming your music, it might as well be you. But you can see here that yes, I am. I'm trying a little bit of handheld here. And this is not the sort of stuff that I generally did, but I'm showing there the USB port, and I'm moving things around. Still out of focus, still shaky. Look at that. Look at that focus level. But anyway, we're not here just to laugh at me, but we are here mostly to laugh at me. The one thing that was funny about this, so there's my iPhone 6s Plus, but this video is so old that I also showed the older one. If we scroll across here, check this out. I still have this somewhere. I should find it. But I actually use so that's the Lightning one. I show the 30-pin adapter.
iPhone 6s and unplug.
Check this one out.
Our cable. Let's bring in.
Look at that chunkster. 30-pin for the win.
30-pin adapter.
Yeah. And look what I plug it
bring
into.
in our little friend when I can find him.
This is putting my
There
code
he
in.
is.
Look at that. Yes, GarageBand 2.1
Always the wrong way.
on an iPhone 4S.
Was stupid.
And that's why, remember that? Remember
in
30-pin
there.
connectors that you had to put the right way around?
Same sort of thing we've got here. We'll tap on our keyboard. And
Look
this is
at
obviously the old version
Look at that screen.
Of GarageBand because
Oh, sorry. I did tell you that there'd be some fun here. There'd be some old stuff. And yeah, as Russ is saying here, it was the start of the dongle and the era of the Lightning to USB 3. Absolutely, Jade. We would get into a lot more of that in the past. Manicured fingers, maybe. maybe not. Exactly. We all start somewhere. We all start at zero, which is what I've been saying for quite a while now. So that was 2017, and we were ticking along there, right? So we were doing our thing. We were creating videos. See, I still say we. I was creating videos, but I was still working full time. At that stage, I had 2 kids. They early in the stage, they weren't both at school. Just as I started the channel, the reason I was able to pick things up was that the kids went from being in childcare or being in daycare to being in school. And then as we got to having children at school, it just, for those that have had kids, it just frees up a little bit more time, yeah? It just frees up more time to be able to do some more things. You get more routine, you get more regular time periods to do stuff, or at least I found that. So I started really sort of lifting things. And we'll talk about 2018 in a moment, because 2018 was a bit of a pivotal year. Hello to the Broadway brothers, and thank you for the super chat there. I do appreciate it. It is folks like you that come here, that support the channel, that do help keep the lights on here in Studio Live Today Studios. So I do thank you very much for that. Love at first sight, Michael. I'm not sure what I was loving. Yeah, probably the Lightning to USB 3 adapters, yeah? I did love them. I did love them a lot. Let's see if we have anyone who, if you're just joining us here, there is a Google form. If you go, I'm just going to find it for. If you go to studiolivetoday.com/5, I think I have a little thingy here. There you go. If you want to leave a message for it to be read out on the show, go to there. You can, of course, leave a chat here, leave a super chat, leave anything there, but you can come across to here and leave a shout out and a message for the show. So I've got a few of them here. So we've got about a dozen. So we will read through these now, and then as more of them come in throughout the show, we will read some more of your shout outs. But if you have anything, jump over studiolivetoday.com/5 and we'll read out your comments. You'll get a shout out here. So number one, and it goes without saying that number one is Jade Star. Jade says, congrats Pete on 5 spectacular years of music creation, helping so many people, and the continued success of your awesome channel. So blessed to be such a part of it all with you, and thank you so much for all you do and being one of my best mates. Here's to many more years of success. Right back at you, Jade. So Jade was the first cab off the rank. I think that's more than fitting, right? Alex Bacchus, my friend up there in Germany, who's probably enjoying some sleep. But thank you, Alex. Hi, Pete and the gang. 5 years of Studio Live Today. Congrats, Pete. You've inspired, guided, and motivated so many people, including me, to create, record, and release. I'm very thankful for this. The community you started is also just awesome. The CRR, which is our create, record, release, and SLT, Studio Live Today friends and community, encouraged me to finally release something. Let's see what the next 5 years will bring, for which I wish you all the best. From Alex. And Alex, your music is awesome, mate. So keep creating. We shared one of Alex's tunes. This t-shirt's very crooked. One of Alex's tunes on Your Music Live just on the weekend, and it was an excellent track. Our man Andy Goldsby from the UK, part of the Indigo Sunset, says, "Hey Pete, congrats on 5 years on YouTube. I also hope that you take a moment to reflect on how many creators you've helped over the years. Your videos got us going with our music, and you have set the tone for a massively supportive community who help each other out." Right, I'll stop blowing smoke up your backside before this gets embarrassing. Just wanted to wish my second favourite bloke from Adelaide, behind Big Tom Moody, all the best. See, you had to go there with the cricket. Well, as you know, I'm a cricket fan. My Taylor guitar is called Mark Taylor, so you know that you're always gonna not offend me. And there's probably others. There's Peter Sleep as well. He was a great cricketer. Darren Buff Lehman. John Kell, thank you. He says, "Congratulations, Pete, on your 5-year anniversary. Thanks for all you've done to help folks get their music out into the world." And right back at you, John. Again, John Kell, the SongSpark group. If you're on Facebook and you're a music creator, do search SongSpark and check out the SongSpark group. It is well worth your time. Our man Thomas Christ says, "Congrats on 5 amazing years, Pete. Been a blast getting to know and learn from you these past couple of years. Keep up the work as you continue to educate, inspire, and support us each and every day. Also, go Pens." Ooh, I don't know about that last comment. Let's go Rangers. All right. We'll do a couple more and then we'll jump back and talk 2018. Michael, a.k.a. Zealand Band. Looks like Michael's gone with a poem. This is awesome. "Studio Live, 5 years on the tube. A studio truly alive, with shows to stimulate, educate and entertain, and even test drive. Money will only tell how long it will last." Right? So look back and rejoice for what the future worth without the past. Keep it up, Pete, or down in Aussie land. Yeah, down. Yeah, keep it up, keep it down. We still do say keep it up, but yeah, we are down in Aussie land. So thank you, Michael. We'll go one more shout out and then we'll jump back over and we'll read it. If you do put something there, because I've got to read this one. I've got to read this in the voice. "Hello, it's Patrick here from the GarageBand Guide." How was that? I won't do the rest. Says, "Despite your continuing refusal to either pronounce GarageBand correctly or admit publicly that GarageBand for Mac is far superior to iOS, I still have the private recordings of you saying so and will release them when the time is right. You've somehow managed to not only survive 5 years on YouTube, but flourish. Watching you go from being the dude with the weirdly popular how to get fluff out of the headphone jack video, we'll talk about that later, to a highly respected and admired online educator in a short space has been fantastic and inspirational. You're an amazing guy, and you're doing an incredible job. I can't wait to see what you'll achieve in the next 5 years. Pete Johns for president? Don't know about that. No. Politics, not my bag. But thank you, Patrick. And again, right back at you, because it's folks like Patrick. When I was first, like Patrick was covering some iOS stuff, but because GarageBand for Mac was a lot more popular and a lot more people using it, that was my first frustration. I did watch a bunch of Patrick's videos before I even started the channel just to learn about GarageBand in general and just to learn a little bit about the ecosystem and the infrastructure. But then it was, hey, I want to dive in and actually get started with GarageBand iOS, and there wasn't as much as I wanted. So I'm like, hey, I'm just going to share as I learn. All right, there you go. But thank you, Patrick, who is here right now chatting to the folks here. So, so I haven't been watching the chat for a while, so I apologize that I haven't been seeing folks. But Dean Thomas is fairly new to the channel, so he is looking for the next 5 years. Congrats. Thank you, my friend. And Bruce Davis says, "I'm new to your channel. Congrats on 5 years." Well, welcome aboard. I think it's going to be, I think you're going to have fun here. We've got a lot of great people here. The channel is you. I keep saying that, I know, but it is you. I'm the facilitator. I'm merely just here to bring you all together and make sure that you're making music and call you out when you're not. That's my job, right? Daryl says, "Hi guys, morning in Australia." Yeah, congrats, Pete. Thank you, Daryl. Appreciate it, mate. And Orchestra Eclipse, hello to you. Can't stay long. I know it's late for our friends in the UK and Europe. I know I tried to make it about the best time I could, but this was the best time we can. I think it's safe to say we all love Patrick and his accent. I think you are spot on with that one, Jade. And yeah, Patrick and I will be doing a show later this week too. We're doing a quick roundtable rant about the Mac M1 and what it's like for music creation, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So stay tuned for that one. Right, let's move on to 2018. I did mention that it's a bit of a pivotal year. If you're just joining us here, by the way, welcome. This is going to be, it's going to be a long show. It's a retrospective, but there's gonna be some cringeworthy stuff and some fun things that we're gonna look at here. You're gonna get to laugh along with me as we do this. So, 2018, I started a little series called GarageBand Quick Jams, which I kind of got the inspiration from my own frustration at watching those original 2016 and 2017 videos and going, Pete, you took 12 minutes to say press this button. It needs to be quicker. So I started with GarageBand Quick Jams. I did talk a little bit too fast to start with, but let's just take a bit of a look and a listen at the very first of what is now more than 80 episodes of GarageBand Quick Jams. Let's take a listen. Hey, Pete here for Studio Live today, and welcome to my brand new series, GarageBand Quick Jams, where in just 2 minutes, I'm going to tell you all about a feature here in GarageBand on the iPhone and iPad. Let's go. We're going to be looking at the keyboard touch instrument. So if I hit Create Document and I tap on this big keyboard icon, I'm here in my keyboard. And I can play some notes. The top left here, we can take the octave down. Or we can take the octave up. The sustain option. Now, I know it's only 2 minutes, but I won't play the whole video. We'll leave it going in the background. So the idea of this was to just give a really quick overview so that folks could go, hey, how do I use the keyboard and how do I get the most out of it? Get in, watch it for like 2-3 minutes, and then get out and move on with their lives. The challenge here, as you can see there, is that we didn't have the mouse. We didn't have things like pointers. I would have had to do about 3 hours of editing. As Patrick knows, when you used to do screen recording, especially on iOS, there was no way to show your pointer. There was no way to actually easily show a tutorial. So we're kind of blessed now that we have the ability to do that. And looking back at these, that was the biggest challenge we had, is the inability to actually show what we were tapping on and what we were doing. But as you can see there, the editing was a little bit slicker. The audio is definitely getting better because I'm using better audio and better processing. So I'm starting to learn. 2018 was I call it my pivotal year, because I was really starting to learn how to do things, including how to create songs. Because at the same time as I was starting to do more tutorials, I kind of really wanted to embrace the whole create, record, release. And I thought, what better way to do that than to do a song in a month? And that's what I did. So the very first song was called the Complete a Song Challenge. For those that have been around the channel for a while will remember this. It's where I created my song called For the Birds. So we'll come in here and we'll have a quick look at the very first video in this series. Oh, that's the wrong one. I've got the wrong video there. Let's click this one. And oh no, I've still got the wrong one. We're not going to actually have it there. Well, that's really well done. So I've put the same video in there twice. So we won't be able to show that. But there was actually, yeah, I know it was speedy, wasn't it? That was just, it was speedy. So yeah, what was I saying? So the Complete a Song Challenge, we might even be able to find it. Let's just search for it. Pete Johns Complete a Song. If I've done my searchability, yeah, there you go. So it was this one, March 2018. It was a 17-part series that we did here, and it all started with this. Pete here for Studio Live today. Now, a lot of folks have been telling me lately that they want to see an end-to-end song recording video here on Studio Live today. So, in the month of March 2018, that's exactly what I'll be doing. I'll be grabbing my iPhone, my iPad, and in GarageBand iOS, I'm going to create, mix, master, finish, release an entire new... Wait there, Mr. Man. So, here's the thing. This is all about balance here. When I was doing this stuff in 2018, I went too far the other way, yeah? So I started being too tentative and too hesitant. Clearly at this point, and yeah, I'm looking at you, man. I'm looking at you right there, that guy there. Clearly at this point, I'd watched too many YouTube videos where they were suddenly very over the top and expressive, and I was really going overboard. So this is what I call 5x Pete. And the Pete you saw in 2017 was 1x Pete. That was probably like half X Pete. What I am now in this channel and what I've learned over time is to be about 2x Pete. Some people say when you're on YouTube, you got to be 10x your personality. You got to just go nuts. I don't think so. I think that can make you sound kind of insane, like I kind of sound in this one. And look, it's not that it's a bad thing. And again, every time I say this, I'm not being self-deprecating. I'm not putting myself down. I'm just pointing out that you learn as you go. So I was learning as I was going along here. The other funny thing I wanted to point out here, you can see in the bottom left there. So that's my headset for my work PC. So at this point, I was still juggling. Like you can literally see me juggling my life here. So this is Studio Live today, Pete, in this corner with his webcams, with his guitar and his keyboard and everything going on here, and his Steinberg UR44. Just in the corner there, that's the headset that's plugged into my work laptop that would have been just off the screen to the left side. So I probably did some work. This would have been late at night. I would have finished off my day job, done some work, and this is probably 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And the reason I know that is see that little device there next to it? That's a baby monitor. So that would be, my children would have been in bed. So as I'm recording this, I had to listen out for a little daddy and go and attend to children. So again, hands up who can relate. The balancing of your life, and at this point, this guy here could have been sitting in front of Netflix or playing PlayStation, and he still was. Like I was still doing a lot of that. But I really desperately wanted to get more into music and create my own music. And that's why doing that Complete a Song challenge, it ended up with a song called For the Birds, which, he lives on. Joey Helpish, who's here in the chat, he just did a remix of For the Birds, which is awesome. So, yeah, I want to say all that to say, regardless of what you're going on, regardless of the amazing juggle, like there's folks like Deep Gravity, Cam over in Melbourne, who's doing this right now. He's juggling the jobs and the family and the commitments and the mortgage and still finding a way to create music. And that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want this to just be sitting here, self-flagellating and clapping for myself. I wanted this to be, if anything, an inspiration for you to go out and just get started. Whatever it is you want to do, just get out there and get started. Capsalam. There you go. Greg Hernandez says, there you go. Mug idea. Studio Live today, 5 years of righty dokie. I did want to do a 5-year t-shirt. Didn't quite get around to it. But if you are just joining us, I do have some promo codes. So if you use the promo code GIMME5, GIMME5, you get $5 off any t-shirts, mugs, anything you like. And if you put Pete Pays, PETEPAYS, then you'll get free delivery in the US. So if you are looking for some merch, you can do that. Who else do we see here? I thought Capsalam. There you go. Capsalam has slipped on in. Said you have an epic video collection. Yeah, and that's kind of the way I've been doing it, is just every time I have an idea, I make a video on it and put it out there. Not worrying too much about, is this one going to be successful or a failure? Like, just that it's a thing. It's in the world. Some people will dig it, some people won't, and that's okay. So that's been my strategy, at least in the last few years, and we'll talk more about that. Who have I missed? Have I missed anyone? No. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, Gary Hubbs has got his hand up. The juggle. The juggle is real, people, and if you're not juggling, maybe you're not doing enough, right? Yeah. And Bubba doesn't tweet. There you go. Any baby monitor samples in For the Birds? There probably is. I listen back. I could actually hear, because it creates some interference, I could actually hear some weird, that humming noise. It's not just the air conditioner. It's often the baby monitor. We got a lot to get through, so let's continue on with 2018. Now, so we did that in July 2018. I actually recorded and released my first album. Well, I didn't record it. I mixed it, mastered it, and released it. So let's see if this video is going to be of the correct persuasion. Just bear with me a moment. Oh, I've got window after window after window. So this is get out there. Come on. Excuse me. Just hold the line a moment. We'll be with you. Your call is important to us. Right, here we are. Now, this is Blue Couch, Pete. So this is the blue couch that's right behind me there. For a while, I was just recording on the blue couch, and it kind of looked like this. I had a really crappy light that was not very. You can see the shadows going on there. I had bad lighting. I had bad camera angles, but I was learning and I was trying. So let's take a look at the first in this series from July 2018, mixing, mastering, and releasing an album, an introduction. Let's take a look and listen.
If you've ever played in a band, been a musician, a singer-songwriter, or created any sort of music, there's a good chance that at some stage you've wanted to release an album, or at least a single or an EP. Well, I have too, and I've never actually released an entire album, but that is all about to change in the next...
Good on you, mate. Let's just tell people what you're going to do instead of just doing it. But yeah, you can see 37-second intro. If I have a 7-second intro now, I'm thinking it's too long. So Mr. Man here talking for 37 seconds is not exactly what I would go with. But guess what? You know what it was? It was the birth of the new intro. So as much as I loved the retro iMovie intro, didn't really fit the brand at this point in 2018. So let's take a look at the first of the new Studio Live Today little intro sting that we had going on.
Hi, my name is Pete, and this is...
So there you go. That was it. You can see I've started bringing in the logo, started bringing in the website, getting a little bit more comfortable, I guess, with the whole branding side of things. So did I literally just sit on a couch for this entire video? My goodness, what was I thinking? But you can see here, even at the end of the video, we started doing a little bit more of the branding there.
Hey, thanks for sticking around to the end. I always love people who stick around to the end.
Little Pete pops up. At this point, again, I was watching so much YouTube that I'm like, I got to do that thing where you put a thing at the end and you put like your logo and you put the things and you have it there. Yeah, I don't do that anymore. But again, it was something I tried. It's an idea. I tried it at the time and you went with it. But just some more experimental stuff. But it's fun to look back on this sort of thing. Hello to some more folks that have come in here. Giga Art is in the house. So Giga Art, we need to get in touch, because speaking of the logos and speaking of all the assets and things that I use here, I do want to upgrade those. And I'm not a designer, but Giga Art is. So I need to be in touch and work out what we need to do together. But thank you for being here and thank you for your kind words. Who have I missed? Danny Stokes. Congrats on 5 years. Just coming out of a dry January. So going to pour myself a drink. Cheers all. Congratulations, well done. I need a dry. What is it? Dry. That's February. There's one that they do in February. There's dry July. I think I should probably do dry July this year again. Yeah. Anyway, who else? Home Studio Corner T-shirt. Yes, I was wearing my Home Studio Corner T-shirt in that one too. The Joe Gilda's Home Studio Corner. I was a big Joe Gilda fan back in the day. So that was cool. There you go. All right, let's move on. So that was 2018. Towards the end of 2018, actually more towards the middle, there was a little show that I used to do. In fact, we have this one. My first live interview. There you go. My first live interview was in July 2018. Now, this has actually never before been seen in public. So I'm going to bring this up. I'm hoping that this is going to not be anything dodgy. I shared this on the GarageBand users Facebook group back in the day, so some of you may know that, but I hadn't done much live stuff before. I was just getting into live, and the very first live interview I did was with someone called Kelvin McKay Hill, who is Kelvin Chaos. He's still kicking around. He's still producing music in iOS. And look at this. This is a familiar camera angle for a lot of folks. There's the treadmill. That's the famous treadmill in the background there, and the brown curtains. And you can see I got my light over above my head there, wearing the hat, wearing the hockey jersey. But this was me doing a GarageBand interview with Kelvin McKay Hill. So let's, there he is. Let's jump over and take a look at me doing my first ever live interview.
Rick, who sort of kicked all of this off and had the idea, and Mark's a man of few words, but
he left.
He did say that the inspiration for his song was a kind of longing for a tropical holiday. So he wanted to get that.
Now I don't even remember what the interview was about, but it is listed. It's an unlisted video, but it is linked down below. Let's give it a like there. And this came about because at the time, over on the GarageBand users Facebook group, and shout out to my friend Steve Mara. Steve Mara and I were doing a little show called GarageBand Users. So there I am, scratching myself. There's the classic treadmill, blue couch, this exact T-shirt, and the brown curtain, all in the one shot. So that's pretty cool. And of course, my co-host there was this guy, Mr. Steve Mara, who would record from his creepy basement in Nebraska, and we would chat about GarageBand. You can see we're using our iPhones because everything's reversed, so all the text is reversed. Hadn't worked out how to do any of that. But this is when I kind of fell in love with live, because the beautiful part about live is that anything can happen. Anything can and will happen. So doing that show with Steve, things would go wrong. We'd have people, we'd have live comments, we'd have the community in there, and it was just awesome. It was just such a fun time that I'm like, I'm going to do more of this live stuff. Problem was, in 2018, my internet was so crappy, as you see from that quality, that I couldn't do what I'm doing. 1080p streaming with like decent quality stereo audio was just out of the question. So we did improve over time, and it's kind of what grew into other things. New York Rangers. New York Rangers featured big, and still do, in a lot of the stuff that I wear. Jade Star says she prefers drunk December over dry July. and don't know about the jersey with the hat. I know, right? That was, I have interesting fashion sense, to say the least. So that was 2018. Coming towards the end of 2018, my first ever, now this is the first live stream, I think, with Patrick. Is that what we've got here? No, this was my first, my first live stream that wasn't an interview type live stream. I won't show you this because we're low on time, but you can check that out afterwards down in the description. We then, so I started doing a lot more ranting. As well. Oh, here's one. This is a live stream from the cutting room floor. So this is one that I did of one of my songs. And you can see here, I hadn't worked out the camera flip yet because I am left-handed. And I think I play my tune Summer here. Let's just take a look and a listen to the quality of this one. I mean, yeah, it was okay. I was using my my USB mic, my Samson USB mic. Thank you, Patrick. GarageBand Weekly, GBU Weekly was amazing. It was a lot of fun. Me and Steve would just get together and just shoot the breeze and have a lot of fun. And look, it did. We'll talk about it in a moment, but it did definitely spark GarageBand Weekly, which Patrick at the GarageBand Guide has indeed co-hosted on many occasions. Who have I missed here that has just jumped into the chat? Hello, Music Therapy Laz. Hello, everyone in the chat. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're doing well, Music Therapy Laz. If you're new to the channel, I don't recognize your name. So if you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. This one's a bit of a retrospective. So we're going back in time into the dark, deep days of 2018. Started at 2016. We're now in 2018. Now, speaking of Patrick, I have to show this because November 2019 was actually the first time that I did a show with Patrick. We were both looking kind of youthful and exuberant back then. So why don't we bring this up? This was the first GarageBand Q&A that I did live with Patrick. I looked like this. Patrick looked like that. We both look a little bit stunned and scared, but why don't we go and take a little bit of a listen to the first I'm pretty sure it's the first collaboration between Patrick and myself. Oop, we're still playing the other video. Get off. I'm going to get rid of that one. Get rid of that one. We'll close all these tabs or I'm going to get, even though I'm on the Mac M1, which is doing a fabulous job on this stream, he says, jinxing it, then we'll jump in here and take a listen and a look at this one. Me and Patrick, GarageBand Q&Aing for the first time. Welcome to this special Q&A all about GarageBand where we, and I say we, are answering all your questions about GarageBand because I'm joined today by that guy, Patrick from the GarageBand Guide. How are you today, Patrick?
Oh, I'm great, Pete. Thank you. How are you, mate?
I'm doing exceptionally well. Now, for the 3% of people watching here who don't know who you are and what you do, why don't you give us the 10-second breakdown version of what the GarageBand Guide is all about?
10 seconds. So yeah, it's all about teaching beginners and intermediate people who are using GarageBand even how to use the program on Mac and on.
There you go. 30 seconds in and we've already got the GarageBand. We've already pronounced it differently. Love it. And I do miss the ghost. What happened to the ghost, Patrick? That was really cool. That was really cool. Capsulam says, how and when did Jade meet? Did me and Jade meet? We'll talk about that in a little while because I don't know. I don't have the exact time. There you go. You enjoyed that one, Patrick. If I have to be embarrassed in this one, I'm gonna drag you all along with me, right? Going to drag you all along. Yeah, so I'll talk about that because, Jade, you might remember the exact time because I know Jade was reaching out, trying to find stuff about DistroKid, I think, distributing music, and then you found a couple of my videos, and then we chatted on Messenger, and then we didn't stop chatting on Messenger, and we still do to this very day, and started collaborating on music. We caught up once before the big lockdowns and everything happened back in January 2020 when I was in Melbourne, caught up for a coffee, and that's the only time we've actually met, but we are wonderful virtual friends here on the community. But there you go. You're right, Patrick. I did interview you. That's why because I thought, why did that sound like I knew you? You were on the Creator Series before that one. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I think I'd interviewed you once before that, and then that was probably the second time around. So we're at the end. We are. We're nearly at the end of 2018. The one thing I did want to say though is that I did start doing a lot more rants, so a lot more ranting in 2018. So I did. Here's one that I did about forcing creativity, where I started just randomly, shooting video, and I started the whole let's just shoot a video outside kind of motif. So let's jump into this one. Here's me just chatting into my phone in public, looking like a weirdo. iOS. We're still playing the other one. Got to remember to stop one video before I play the next one. So this is about forcing creativity, and I thought, I'll just walk along with a really bad camera and go looking sweaty with my hat on backwards. Music, and it was just not a happening thing. So I thought I would tell you the story about this, but first I'm going to go inside and have a drink and get a little bit less sweaty, and then I'll join you and let you know what the heck I'm talking about. Oh, good. At least I did. Oh, then I go back in front of the treadmill. I'm like, here's a much better camera angle. Not. Oh man, it's a lot of fun. Sorry, and as I keep saying, I'm not doing this to be self-deprecating and to make fun of myself, but it is interesting. It's fun to see where we've all come from, and I'm just going to go through and keep doing this. So why don't we jump over? So a lot of folks have been kind enough. Before we get into 2019, the year that's entitled Going Daily. And by the way, we won't go into depth of 2020 because that's just kind of just happened. So if you're worried here that we're going to be here 4 hours, we won't go into that much detail. But we've got a few cool things from 2019 and just the start of 2020 to talk about because a lot went on there. But let's jump over and see if we've got anyone else with some shout outs here. I'm on the wrong page. Where did I put it? It's behind here. There you go. So we've got a bunch more that have come through. We'll get through these. So Darren Daniluk, hello to you. Thank you for your kind words. So thank you, Pete. Thank you for going out of your way to share your knowledge with those who can benefit. Thank you for being a role model of a human being. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for providing a safe haven for us sensitive souls to safely share their music with kind people. Your admins do a wonderful job. They do indeed at keeping the riffraff. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. Now, thanks to you, Darren. Darren creates some amazing music, and I've had chats with Darren, like messages back and forth with Darren about his music. He's contributed to the Your Music live show, and the stuff he creates and contributes to the community is awesome. So thank you. And can we get some claps or some carrots in the chat for the moderators and the admin team here? I'm going to forget some people, but we got Amarasea, we got Sion, we got Tom, we got Scott, we got Bubba, and we've got, of course, Jade. Have I missed anyone? Jade, can you tell me if I've missed one of them? But yeah, all of those folks are here, not all the time, but the beautiful part of having a team of wonderful people like that is that they're all here and they help keep the chat flowing, keep, as Darren eloquently put it here, keep the riffraff out and keep everything rolling smoothly. Mr. Ed Zelinsky says, Pete, I found your channel in early 2020. Since then, I've learned more about GarageBand and making music than in all the previous. And on top of it, I've found a great community of like-minded people. Thanks for your work, dedication, and for keeping things fun. Well, thank you to you, Ed Z. And Ed Z is one of my newest patrons. So over at patreon.com/PeteJohns, Ed is one of the wonderful folks who supports me and is part of that community. So if you like this community and you want to be part of a smaller community that does pretty much the same sort of stuff and have a bit more access to me and to like-minded folks, then feel free to consider becoming a Patreon over there. Patrick Chandler, one of the wonderful Chandler brothers, Patrick and Sean, producing some great music, Patrick Chandler says, 10K subscribers, yet you have a way of making us feel like you are speaking directly to us all as individuals. Truly special gift you have. Congratulations, Pete. This is your day. Well, thank you, my friend. It does feel weird and it does feel bizarre when I talk because I do. That's just naturally how I try to be, is that I'm talking to you. And the best compliment, it's not like I've got bad comments over the years, and maybe we'll talk about those, maybe we won't in this one. We've had some rough times, and we've had some comments, and we've had some people part of the community that have not wanted to build people up, but have wanted to tear people down. But I think the best compliment I've ever got is someone that said, they're like, watching a video is like having Pete in your front room, having a cup of tea and a chat. And I just thought that is the best thing, because that's exactly what I want when I'm watching a video. I want someone who's just going to Tell me the stuff I need to know. Talk to me in words I can understand, and hopefully at the end of it, I get to learn something. So if I can do that, then yeah, success, big tick. That's all I'm really focusing on. But thank you, Patrick, for all of your support. Lady Rhodaline Straight is someone I've only known within the last sort of few months, but has taken the community by storm. Says congratulations on a massive achievement. So many of us would be lost without you. Well, thank you, and I appreciate you, and keep doing what you're doing. Lady Rhodaline has an amazing voice and creates some excellent music. You need to check her out. I think she's the only Lady Rhodaline Straight going around, so you'll be able to find her. Find her on the YouTube and the places. Joey Helpish says, yes, our man Joey Helpish, and probably Jenny Helpish too, and Lady Helpish says, congrats, you bloody carrot. I'm really proud of and inspired by you. Well, thank you, my friend. Right back at you. Likewise, I learn stuff every time I watch one of your streams. I learn something I didn't know before. So yeah, do check out Joey Helpish on his channel, Joey Helpish. Kenneth, or Ken7neth. I never quite know how to say your name, mate. Says, happy anniversary, Pete. Here's to another 5 years. Here's hoping, my friend. Here's hoping. Taylor says, to your viewers, you're awesome. Yes, to your viewers, to all of you, you're awesome, and thank you for being here. Thank you, Taylor. Is that my guitar? Did you do that message, Mark? No, I think it's a different Taylor. Probably Swift. I hear she's a big fan. Our friend Mark Bro says, discovered your channel mid-2019. So there you go. You're seeing all stuff that you mightn't have seen, Mark. You taught me basically everything about GB. Took a while to build the confidence, but then came Songtember 2020, and I finally released my first song. Can't thank you enough, my friend. Well, thank you. And again, every time I see your name and your avatar in the chat here, Mark, it makes me feel warm. You know where. See, someone's going to be creepy. Someone's going to be really creeped out. Warm in the cockles of my heart. I'm sorry. We have a few weird memes. If you're here new to the channel, we have a few weird memes and inside jokes. Carrots. Here's a meme explainer 101. Carrots. I was playing the song Fairy Tale of New York by the Pogues, and there's a line in there that has a word, an F word, and it's a word I don't like to say. So instead of that word, I used the word carrots. That's where the carrots came from. M is that our friend Scott, I think it was, did a super chat once, and instead of putting a message, just put the letter M, and everyone jumped on that, thought that was funny. And warm in the cockles is just something. It's from a Dennis Leary song. He's like, he says maybe below the cockles in the subcockle area. So he talks about being warm and fuzzy in the cockles. So I just happen to like that. So there you go. There is your Studio Live Today Memes 101. I hope that helped you out. Joe and Barry, the Glens, the legend that is Joe and Barry Glenn, says, congrats, Pete. Found your channel and was inspired to delve into the magic of GB. Great community. Now I'm educating Barry. There you go. Do it. Joe and Barry create some amazing folk music. The latest video, actually your second latest video, showed actually you recording with the iPad and using the Steinberg UI20. Like that just fills me, again, warm and fuzzy in the cockles, because if I can help folks get set up and get recording, and then you see the end result of the music that they create, that's what it's all about. You might think the hokey pokey is what it's all about. No, that's what it's all about. Got two more shout outs, and then we'll jump back over to the next section where we're continuing on here. Frigsy, g'day Frigsy, says, massive congrats, Pete, on 5 years and the brilliant community you've developed. Congrats on Murdering Time too. Liked, saved, and shared. Yeah, my new single, Murdering Time. And in fact, we're going to have a break. We're going to have a toilet break right after this, and I'm going to play Murdering Time just so that we can all have a stretch, have a beverage, and then come back for the second half of the show, just like we do on Your Music Live. So thank you, Frigsy, and yeah, you can enjoy some Murdering Time together in just a moment. And the last one here is from Scott. Scott says, Pete, just a quick thanks for all you do and the encouragement to create, record, and release music. You helped me greatly last year and made my 2020 so much better. I went from barely creating and sharing music to releasing an album, and you're a big part of making that happen. Glad to be part of the Studio Live Today community. Thanks again, and glad to have you as part of the Studio Live Today community, Scott. Thank you for everything that you do for the community here as well, because you might not think that just coming here and chatting to folks and being part of the community doesn't do much, but it really does. Having the community here and having everyone here together, I know, I'm humble enough, hopefully, to know that it's not just me. You guys come here to chat with each other and to be part of a community and to share ideas. I've seen collaborations come out of this. I've seen people like hook up afterwards, not like that. I've seen people hook up afterwards and collaborate, answer each other's questions, help out with questions about gear, help troubleshoot problems, help with songwriting. Like, you are all helping each other all the time, and I do think it's amazing. I like this question. We'll answer this question from Greg, and then we'll continue on because got all the M's going on in the chat. Where do you see yourself in 2026? It's like a job interview question, isn't it, Greg? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? It's a good question. So in 2026, I will be 46 years old, and I hope to still be doing this. And I will be doing this in some. Let me rephrase that. I will be doing this in some form. If YouTube is not a thing, if everyone's on GooTube by then, I don't know. If the whole Google thing here in Australia implodes and there's problems with the media stuff and Google go out and something happens, you'll find me somewhere else. You'll find me on Facebook or Twitter or TikTok or somewhere. I will be sharing. I'll be doing the same things that I'm doing now. In terms of changes or different things, not a whole lot, to be honest. There's a few things I want to do. I've been very conscious that I don't want to go down the path that everyone tells me I should go down. So here's the thing. Here's the 101 of becoming a YouTuber is that you start creating content, you niche down to a particular category, like, yep, tick. You start building up an audience, a community, tick. And then what you do see is you create a sales funnel, and then you create courses, and then you do launches of those courses, and then you get people's email address, and then you start marketing to them. And then you get so big that you build a team, see? You get someone to edit your videos, you get someone to do your social media, you get someone to manage all your emails and talk to your community, and then you just sit back and sip pina coladas on the beach? No. So that is not the direction I want to go. And I'm probably a bit on the other side where I'm a bit too stubborn. But here's the thing. I was going to talk about this later, but I'll talk about it now. I was made redundant from my job in September last year. So I've been doing content creation full-time since then. It's been an absolute blessing. I've been having an absolute blast. I did have inklings that I wanted to do this anyway, and that was just the little shove that made me come out and do this. So that's all good. Don't feel bad for me. It's not a bad thing at all. But yeah, at that point, I did think about that, where do I go from here? What happens when things get out of control and I need to start? And I started looking for advice, and all the advice I got was, oh yeah, you got to build your brand and you got to get a team. And I'm thinking, if I get a team of like 10 people, don't I just become a manager? Didn't I get out of the corporate world so that I could come and create music and have like a life of passion and things that I want to do and engage with the community? If I didn't get to do the social media, if I didn't get to answer the Patreon messages, if I didn't get to do all the live stream preparation and read all your comments and respond to them, how do I know what's going on? I'm going to have my finger way off the pulse, and I'm going to have to manage a team of people doing work, which I got out of the corporate world to stop doing. So that's a weird way to answer your question, Greg. But what I think you'll see from me is not the traditional route of, suddenly Pete's got a team of people and suddenly Pete's inaccessible. I mean, look, it may happen in some forms because I've only got so many hours in the day. But what I think I'm going to do is a lot more live stuff because I really enjoy doing that. I'm going to continue to do the tutorials that I have been doing and continue to sort of focus in. I think if I just continue to create, record, release across everything I do, because every time I make a video, every time I do something, I'm thinking, how is this going to help people create, record, and release their best music, video content? And that's kind of what I've been doing. So it's a very long-winded and weird way of answering that question, but hopefully it made some sort of sense. Marcia said, I was eating dinner. Did I miss the whole stream? We're only halfway there, mate. It's going to be a long one here today. We were just talking about you. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Alrighty, let's continue on, shall we? And Greg Hernandez says that Louis C.K. thinks that Dennis Leary stole the idea for the song At Hall from him. Possibly. I have heard things. I have heard stories and things about Dennis Leary, and perhaps sometimes he does like to reuse and recycle. Reduce, reuse, recycle. See, he's just doing his bit for the environment. Now, if you do want to check out my new song called Murdering Time is now available on all of your streaming platforms. So if you go to your Spotify, your iTunes, your Apple Music, all your other places, you can actually check this out. Now, I'm going to play this mostly so that I can hydrate up, drink a bit of water, and have a little quick, have a wee break, or a wee break. And then we'll be back for a second half. We're going to talk 2018, 2019. We're going to talk about the happy hour. We're going to talk about the lockdown. We're going to talk about GarageBand Weekly and Your Music Live and my first sponsored video and a whole bunch more. So thank you for being here so far. Please hang around and join me for the second half. But let's jump across now and take a listen to this. I know many of you have heard it before, but yeah, I do thank you because, again, Jade Star played drums on this and created the album artwork. A lot of you were in there for the recording sessions where I put it together and helped me decide on the instrumentation and how it all came together. So I do consider these sort of songs as a Studio Live Today community project. So let's jump in over here and take a look and a listen. We'll take 2 minutes 40. Feel free to stretch your legs, have a toilet break, grab yourself a beverage, and listen to Murdering Time.
Senses the darkness, only feeling the pain, only time is behind me, don't have nothing to gain, at the end of my tether. Murdering time to save myself and others from the thoughts in my mind. I'm murdering time, so I don't end up taking a life. Murdering time.
Murdering Time. Welcome to the folks who've joined us here for the second half. We got a bunch of new to the channel and old to the channel and everyone in between. So if you're just joining us here, this is our celebration of 5 years of Studio Live Today. A bit of a retrospective look back on everything that's been going on around here. So hello to Beefy Official. I hope you're doing well. Empire Official. Everyone's very official. Thank you for being here as well. Who else have we got here that I've missed? I'm Worth it. Hello to you. I hope you are doing well over there. Joe Glenn says we'll keep your lights on. Thank you very much. I appreciate everyone for being here. And if you're new to the channel, it's a weird one to come in on because, yeah, we're talking about the last 5 years of the channel, but the purpose we're doing this, the reason we're doing this is for me to actually share what I've been going through. And I've talked about it a lot before, but there's a few concepts here. That is that everyone starts at zero. So if you're looking to start something new right now, keep in mind that every single person that you know in the world that started doing a thing started with zero knowledge, zero experience. And that is really important to know because when you start something, you will inevitably start comparing yourself to other people. When I started out, I wanted to be like Patrick from the GarageBand Guide. I wanted to be like Lewin from GarageBand and Beyond. I wanted to be like Joe Guild. I wanted to be like Graham Cochran. I wanted to be like Warren Hewitt. So I tried to emulate a lot of those people. And you know what I realized along the way? I'm a really crappy Patrick Baird from the GarageBand Guide. I'm a very terrible Warren Hewitt. But you know what? I'm a pretty darn good Pete Johns. And the less I tried to be more like other people, and the more I tried to be like myself and do things my way in a way that was still engaging. So it's kind of a balance here. I want to do things, I want to be my natural self and do things my way, but I also want to ensure that I'm listening and engaging with those that are watching the channel to learn what you want. Because at the end of the day, why am I doing this if I'm not actually serving the people watching the videos at the end of the day? So I'll say all of that to say thank you for being here. And if you do want to leave a message and you want to get a shout out here on the show, you can leave a message there, studiolivetoday.com/5. And if you go to that website, it's linked as well down in the description or in the chat, the pinned comment, then you can leave a shout out and we'll read the final of those towards the end of the show. So we got to the end of 2019, and there were a few things that kind of started towards the end of 2019. Home Studio Q&A actually was at the very end of 2019. In November was the very first episode of my Q&A show, which is still going to this day. We're still doing episodes of Home Studio Q&A. So why don't we jump over and take a bit of a look at late 2019, Pete, and the very first Home Studio Q&A here on Studio Live Today. Let's take a look. Big delay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Studio Live Today. My name is Pete, and this is a live show with a bit of a difference here today. This is the pre-show. I jump in a bit early these days just to get things set up and say hello to the wonderful folks that are here. But today I will be recording a live Q&A show, which I plan to then become a podcast. So yes, a lot of folks have been saying, where's the Studio Live Today podcast? I want to listen. I don't want to look at your face. And if you do want to listen and not look at my face, guess what? You can jump over and listen to the Studio Live Today podcast, because Home Studio Q&A is now 64 episodes in. So this is November 2019. We've been doing it. There's Jade Star. Look at that old avatar. You got admins? Look at that. There you go. I like that. Maybe that could be it, Jade. That could be the start of when I'm just like, you know what? I don't. I'm going to make you. So maybe that is the origin story of Jade becoming an integral part of the channel. Because I know at that stage we've been chatting through 2019, Jade, and maybe that was when I'm like, hey, yeah, do you want to moderate the channel? So maybe that was it. I don't know. But yes, that was the very first episode of that, and it was mostly just a talking head at that stage. But I started doing things like this, getting a bit fancy, and putting the questions up there. So using my screen sharing, started using StreamYard, which is what I'm using right now, as you can see. Bit of Inception there, the thing inside the thing inside the thing. So that show continues to this day. And the beautiful part about that show is I learned something really important from Home Studio Q&A, and that is that. Sorry, that's just so weird. That is that. I can actually use that, and then when I'm answering questions, that leads me to the next video. So I've never really had to sit down and think about, what do I make a video about today? Because as you'll learn, in 2020, I started going daily, like absolutely daily videos. And I didn't ever have a problem coming up with content. People are like, where do you get your ideas for the videos? And I say, I just read my comments. Like, I'll finish this stream. This is legitimately what will happen is I'll finish this stream. I'll pick up my phone. I'll go for a walk and get some lunch. And while I'm out walking, I'll be in my comments of my YouTube channel, and I'll just be reading and replying to comments. Read and reply, read and reply. Someone will say something that will just trigger. They'll be like, Pete, I've been trying for ages to record this and how to record guitar on 2 tracks in GarageBand and do stereo recording. And I'll be like, okay. And then if I'll sort of file that away, or sometimes I'll actually put it in my little OneNote document. And then I basically just look, and if I'm getting enough questions about the same thing from the number of people, then I make a video. So a lot of people say, Pete, it's like voodoo, it's magic. You know exactly what I'm thinking. I'm like, no, I don't know what you're thinking, but you're probably having the same struggles and problems that a bunch of other people are having. And then when they tell me about them, I make a video. And then that's it. So that's where it is. Yeah, as Mark says here, 2019 BC, before... and if you do want to check out the audio podcast, Jade has linked that one there. So you can go and subscribe. I know it's a weird long link and things there, but if you just type Home Studio Q&A, that's Home Studio Q &A into your podcast player of choice, you should find it. It's on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all the places. Tom says, I may have watched that live. Pete was just starting live shows when I started watching. Yeah, and I was. And you can see through 2019 and into 2020, when I got better quality internet, my quality improved. Plus, I got lighting. Plus, I realized that, because here's the thing, like, I haven't done anything major to change this. And I don't have fancy posters and I don't look as cool as Patrick Baird at the GarageBand Guide. But you know what I did do? I tilted my screen, because if we tilt back like that, you want to know where the treadmill is and the old blue, well, they're just there. But all I did is I'm like, hang on, why can't I just tilt my screen like slightly on an angle, and then instead of my background being a treadmill, my background can be that corner, and then I can just put cool props like amps and boxes and interfaces and things. And sometimes I'll put a guitar up there just so it looks like, ooh, I play guitar. It was funny, actually. When I was doing the dual life, I was the Superman of the corporate world, because by day he's Clark Kent, but by night he's Super GarageBand. It was a little bit challenging, because sometimes I would forget, like, to put away. So I'd be doing stuff in the morning, because my usual thing, and it's interesting to talk about this because it's related to 2019. I would wake up very early. I'm an early riser, so I'd wake up about 4:30. I would come into the studio. I'd maybe shoot a video. I'd do some editing. I'd do some social media, reply to comments. I'd have all my cameras and everything set up here, and then got to about 7:30. I'd get the kids ready, get them off to school, and then got to 8:30. And if I was working from home, I would set up, and I just have to switch out all the other gear, grab the work laptop, and reset up here. But occasionally I'd just like leave stuff behind, and I'd be in like a Zoom meeting or a Skype meeting, and people would be like, "Oh, look at Pete with his guitars there. Ha ha, play us a tune, Pete." I'd be like, yeah, okay. Because the thing was, it wasn't that I didn't tell people that I worked with what I did. I'm Google. You Google Pete Johns, I'm what pops up. But they just didn't care, and they didn't know about it. And I wasn't going to go and start promoting it, because whilst I did everything by the book, and honestly, I'm very low profile. I'm very much of a by the book, by the rules kind of guy. So I would work my day job, and then I would finish, and as soon as I did, I'd be like, cool. And yeah, look, sometimes, as you would have seen, sometimes in my lunch break, I would go out and walk around the parklands near my office if I was at the office, and I would actually just shoot a video, or I'd do some video editing, or I'd do some social media, whatever. So I would do stuff before and lunchtime and after work. But yeah, it was really weird when you had that worlds collide thing, where I would have a bunch of audio gear around, and then I was on a Skype call. It was weird. Cody Walsh says, been watching since 2016. Very cool. Thank you for being there. Can't wait for AC. Oh yeah, sorry, we're talking BC and AC. I hear ya. Shout out to, by the way, folks over in Perth. They're the latest part. WA is the latest state in Australia that it's like, tag your turn. So they've gone into a 5-day hard lockdown because of a case over there. And I know people in other parts of the world, they're like, you've gone into lockdown because of one case. But you got to realize that they haven't had a case there in like 6 months. So it is a big deal. So hopefully they get on top of that quick. And to Mike and to my friends over in WA, hope you're doing well. And to those in the UK, Europe, South Africa, the UK, US, Canada, I know things are challenging, and please just keep at it, keep creating music, keep chatting amongst the community. Hopefully things like this give us all a place to have a chat and to have a vent. And while I'm ranting, and we'll get back into the show in a moment, while I'm ranting, I did have an absolute moment of clarity yesterday, because my internet was down. I was having issues. I've mentioned this on the show. I had to do my show using my phone instead of my internet, and I'm talking, and I'm like, oh man, I got to ring up the company. I'm talking to internet. I'm like, why is my internet down? Why is the NBN down? When are you going to fix it? And then I get to the end, and I'm just like, all right, I got to be really nice. I'm just like, thank you so much for all your help. Like, thanks for tolerating me. I appreciate everything that you guys do. And I happen to know that the tech support for Internet are in South Africa. And I'm just like, and by the way, I hope everything's going okay for you over in South Africa, because I realize you guys are probably doing it tough. And the person was like taken aback. They were just like, okay, oh, thank you. I'm like, it's perspective thing, yeah? It's perspective that me sitting here in Adelaide, doing my audio show, doing my little YouTube thing, and having, oh no, my internet is slightly dodgy for one day. That is not a problem. Like, that's not in the scale of any of these sort of problems. Anyway, yes, Independent George will cease to exist if don't crush Independent George. Bit of Seinfeld going on. Let's get into 2020, shall we? So 2020 was the year of the daily. So the daily live shows was what came out. Now, did I miss something? There was something I missed back here. Hang on. No, I don't have it linked here. But what I'll show you we'll do 2020, and then I'll come back and I'll show you. For those that don't know, I'll tell you what the most watched video of all time here on the channel was. See if you can guess the content. If you're here in the chat, see if you can guess what the content of my most watched video of all time on this channel has been. It may surprise you. So 2020 was the year of daily, and it was a year of going live. Now, the best video of the year, this is where I realized that people were really often just looking for solutions to their problems. So we talked about the Lightning to USB 3. We talked about like connecting MIDI keyboards and connecting audio interfaces. They were definitely some of my most popular videos when I started doing gear videos and started sharing stuff like that. The most popular video of 2020 was actually a video about how to connect up a mouse and a keyboard to your iPhone or iPad. So what I've tended to find is that I'll do the stuff, and it's important to niche down here. Like when you're creating video content, the one thing you're taught really early on is find your niche. And my niche is definitely mobile recording. But you know what? A lot of the things that I get a lot more views on, if I was going to be a pure YouTube analytics by the book kind of person and just do things that were popular, I'd do a lot more of this sort of stuff. So this was a video about how to connect up an iPad and an iPhone to a let's try that again. Connect a mouse or a keyboard to an iPhone or iPad. And you'll see here, if you watch those early ones that we showed at the start, that 37-second intro and then that, I think, 8-second sting with the Studio Live Today logo. Let's take a look at 2020, Pete, and see how we've got this down to now. In this video, I'm going to show you how to connect a Bluetooth or USB keyboard and mouse to your iPhone or your iPad. So let's go. Hi, my name is Pete. 9-second intro, 2-second sting, and then I tell you who I am, and then we're straight into it. We have timestamps here now. So we've got the difference between USB, we've got how to connect the Bluetooth, how to connect USB, how to do it all there. It's all nice and easy. And if you go to the description of the video, it's got all of the links in there. It's got the timestamps. And I started doing something a little different here, which you'll notice if you've been around the channel, because I was sort of starting to move towards, hey, maybe one day I'll want to do this as a job. I had to start thinking about revenue sources. And again, I didn't want to do the let's put you into a sales funnel and let's sell a bunch of stuff to you. But if I'm going to do videos about gear anyway, doesn't it make sense that I have affiliate links to the gear I'm talking about in the video? Yeah, it does. So down here, here's the links to all the products. So if I show this and you're like, wow, you're right, that Bluetooth keyboard does look cool and it does look easy to connect it up to my iPad. I want to buy one. Well, then I give you the option to click the link here, jump straight over to Amazon and buy the keyboard. So that's something that I learned going along, that affiliate marketing, and you know, you're seeing behind, I've always been completely transparent about this. Affiliate marketing has been one of the better sources of income for this channel, and it helps me pay the bills because I'm talking about gear anyway. I'm telling people this is what I use. I demonstrate the gear, and then I send them to Sweetwater or Amazon or Thomann or eBay, and people buy the gear. So yeah, if you do want to buy gear, studiolivetoday.com/gear. That's where you can go. And there you go. Jade's always on the ball, ready with the link that you can check those out. The affiliated links that you can go to, studiolivetoday.com/gear. A few folks have got the, I've got this. Yeah, a couple of us know. A couple of you know what the video is. And a couple of you have guessed there, so we'll find out. Empire Official says that video helped me a lot. Yeah, look, I know a lot of you may have found me from one of those videos, and I guess that's the other part of it, is that trying to find ways to help people and to provide something that's going to help someone, then you may hang around. Like, if it's all kind of related, it's all related to iOS stuff, then maybe you'll be there. James Kimball says, hey Pete, I was just going to look at all your instructional videos over the years to hook up GB and learn the shortcuts. Lo and behold, it's your channel's birthday. There you go. Well, welcome, James, and thanks for being here. Nice coinky-dink, right? Yeah, I thought I'd do this because I know it's Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening in most parts of the world, and this is when people are usually like, right, let's just sneak a little bit more creating in before the weekend's done, yeah? Let's go and watch a video and see if I can learn how to use that automation or learn how to use compression or EQ or whatever it is. So yes, hello to you. Hello to you. Thank you for being here. Let's continue on. So that was my best video of 2020, but a couple of other things happened in 2020. funnily enough. And we won't go into detail again because it's what we've been through a lot of this stuff, and we don't need to rehash all of it. But one sort of moment that welcome to there you go. It showed it there. In fact, I don't know why I've got episode 4, but I started doing this show. So we talked about GarageBand Users Weekly that we used to do on the GarageBand Users Facebook group. Steve Mara, who used to host that with me, had a few commitments and eventually couldn't do the show. So I started doing it solo, and then I thought, actually, I should probably just do this on my YouTube channel, because I was sharing it to Facebook and maybe 20 people would watch live, maybe 100 people would watch it in total. And I thought, well, why aren't I just doing this on my YouTube channel and then sharing that to Facebook so that everyone can actually check that out? So that's what I started doing, and we did videos like this. So let's take a look at one of the first GarageBand Weekly live shows, which continue to this very day. You can even see Basil the dog there in the background. Let's take a look and a listen. Welcome to another episode of GarageBand Weekly here on Studio Live today. Yes, this is our live weekly show all about the world of GarageBand, or as I say, 30 minutes for me to rant about one of my favorite topics. Either way you look at it, it's all good. If you're not sure who I am and what this is, my name is Pete, and this is Studio Live today, which is my... So we're starting to get a little bit better. I'm working out the lighting. I'm still a bit washed out. We're still at 720p because I haven't upgraded my StreamYards. We're still using the PC, so we're a little bit shaky and not quite as good quality as we are now. But yeah, I started learning here that let's put the things down the bottom there. We'll put the what are they, timestamps in there, and started working out how to share things. I'm probably being self-promoting here. Yeah, look at that. I'm talking about myself. Yeah, come over and look at my website. But yeah, as you can see there, the website has started looking more like this. And keyboard shortcuts, there you go, keyboard again. But I started building out the website and putting some different sections in there because, again, I realized that, putting an iPhone guide in there or an iPad guide, putting the keyboard shortcuts guide as well as the gear guide, all these things were going to actually help folks out. And again, yes, I needed to make income. That's the only reason I can still be here and do this full time now, is that I actually do have those income streams. But at the same time, I wanted to make sure it was helping folks. I don't ever want to be in a position where I'm selling something to sell it. And unfortunately, whenever there's affiliates involved, there's legitimately people that have affiliate sites and affiliate shows about products that they've never used and don't actually know what they do. They're just like, hey, this looks like a cool item. Everyone should buy this item. And it's like, no, I'm more than happy. I have a sales and marketing background. I understand that you need to actually promote things and you need to actually tell people what you're doing. But I'm never going to go down that track. Yeah, we've got a Basil sighting. I wonder if he's nearby. He's around. I didn't have him in here because if he needed to go out, I would have to walk over. But maybe at the end of the show, we'll call Basil and he can come in to say goodbye. Dynamite. No, Dynamy. Hello to you. Thank you. Thank you for that. Happy anniversary. Your GarageBand videos sure helped a lot of people. Thank you. I appreciate you. And yes, and there's not just studio gear on Amazon. I know I've told the story before, but if you don't know how Amazon actually works with the Amazon affiliate program, it is anything you buy. So if you go there, if you click that link to go look at a keyboard or a MIDI keyboard or an audio interface or a microphone, and then you decide to buy some dog food, yeah, they're going to break off a tiny chunk of that dog food purchase and send it my way. So if you're ever looking for a way to support the channel and you're buying stuff on Amazon or eBay or Sweetwater or any of those places, you can do it by going to my gear guide, studiolivetoday.com/gear. All right, we're going to talk about 2020. All right, let's all just get a bit of a relax, have a bit of a drink. So in March of 2020, I was ticking along. I was doing my day job, starting to do a lot more of this. So I was doing daily videos, and as I said before, my normal routine in sort of January, February into March of 2020 was that I would get up at about 4:35 o'clock. I would do about 2 hours worth of Studio Live Today work. I would then get the kids off to school and do all that sort of stuff. I would then go do my day job from 9 to 5. And then I'd come home, spend time with the family, and then at night time I might spend another 2 hours. So I was probably doing 4 to 5 hours of Studio Live Today work, 8 hours of regular work, and probably 5 or 6 hours of family time. So it was pretty full days. And we decided, let's have a holiday. We'll go away. So holiday, vacation. We're going to go on a cruise. And we're going to go on a cruise in the middle of March 2020. So we book our cruise. Some news stories start coming out through January and February about this thing that's going on in other parts of the world. And people start questioning things. They're like, "Oh, you're going away? That's brave of you." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And they're like, "Don't you know about the thing that's coming?" I'm like, "It'll be fine." At that point, you remember how naive we were? It'll be fine. So it'll be fine, right? And then, more things happen. And then some pretty bad things happen related to cruise ships right here in Australia. So there was a cruise ship called the Ruby Princess that had a situation. I'm not going to go into detail because we're not here to talk about that, but you can look it up online if you really want to. So, yeah, when we left for our cruise on the 10th of March, let's just say that some people were a little bit nervous and skeptical about that. We weren't leaving the country, so we were just going to Tasmania, but we left, we were on the cruise ship, ticking along, having a good time, got to the middle of the ocean in Bass Strait. My family actually got really sick because of seasickness, and then I'm standing there, I'm actually walking, I have a beer in my hand, I remember it vividly, I have a beer in my hand, and I'm walking, it was really rocky, so I'm walking along, I'm going to go to the casino and play some blackjack, yeah, and then the music turns off, and then this is your captain speaking, in that tone, and everyone just sort of turns and looks at each other, and he's like, as you know, in these unprecedented times, a lot of things are happening, so guess what, we're turning around and we're going back. So we were literally just off the coast of Tasmania, and they're like, yeah, we're turning around and going back. I'm like, oh, crap. So, yeah. And then they come on and they're like, oh, you'll be fully refunded for your trip. And I'm like, oh, okay. That's not the worst thing. We got half a cruise and then we'd have to pay for it. So, yeah, long story short, we returned home, came home, didn't have to self-quarantine because we hadn't been outside of the country and it was very early days for things. But, yeah, that was interesting time. So I get back and I'm like, well, now what? I was still on leave from my day job. I'm like, let's just crack on and do some studio live today. So got straight into the studio, started recording, started making videos, and I started doing a particular show because there was a lot going on in the world. There was a lot of like uncertainty and a lot of people that I think just needed something to take their mind off of what was going on. So that's where the idea for the happy hour came about. So I say all of that to tell you that in March, I started this little show called The Happy Hour, a live music chat show. And here is a little snippet of episode 1 from back in March of 2020. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to The Happy Hour here on Studio Live today. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a fine day. It is 7 p.m. in LA. It is 10 p.m. on the east coast of the US and Canada. And it is 2 a.m. for anyone brave enough to be there in the UK and some parts of Europe. If you're here in Australia with me, it is lunchtime. It is. Let's jump to business support. Red does indeed go faster. Every time you say the word red, I was going to say we won't turn this into a drinking game, despite the fact that Ricky says this. But yes, I was going to say every time someone puts red in the chat, I have a drink. That could end badly. And it did. So there you go. That was the origin of red. So that was the very first. We were halfway through. We hadn't even played a song yet. So in the early days, I think I played like 4 or 5 songs, and we spent most of the time chatting. And it was really more just about having some conversation and just having a relax and all hanging out together. And I do think that really kind of solidified and boosted the community. We were all in a similar position. None of us could go out and watch live music. None of us had any certainty about what was going on. And I think the happy hour, not to overstate it, but I think it just gave everyone something, like a thing that they knew that they could come together for an hour a week, hang out with the community. I'd play a few tunes, we'd have a few laughs, we'd have a beverage, and then we'd move on. And yes, I did still wear my Studio Live Today t-shirts back then as well. You can check out all the happy hour shows there. We're up to number, well, how many, like 40 of them. So we've been doing them every week since then. And Mark has indeed. Mark's never missed a show. Red, yeah, I don't know. What time is it? It's 11. It's 11:11. Nearly beer o'clock, Scott, but not quite a red yet. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun doing the happy hour every week. So that was something good that came out of the 2020. I couldn't think of a word. I couldn't even think of a word to describe it. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And green, yeah, you know what, green. Speaking of green, actually, I need to go buy some Cooper's Pale cans. They've got a special at the moment. You don't need to know this, but I want to go buy a carton of Cooper's Pale Ale because they have special 440ml cans just for summer. And the only thing better than Cooper's Pale is a little bit more Cooper's Pale, right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying. All right. So that was the happy hour. From there, we've expanded out. So we now have a weekend. So at that point, again, because I was starting to think, hey, I want to do this and it was Studio Live today, right? So the reason I couldn't do live shows early on is I just didn't have the internet speed. I didn't have the experience, to be honest, to host a live show. But as I was doing more and more of these live shows, I realized just how much I liked it. And I liked it for a couple of reasons. I like live because I don't have to do any editing. Let's be super honest. I like the interaction I can have with folks like you that are here live. And I like the fact that anything can and usually does happen. That has really helped me out. My level of anxiety, my level of stress, my overall demeanor and approach towards things in life in general has improved significantly, because when you are doing live stuff and anything can and will happen, you just have to roll with the punches. The old saying of the show must go on is true. So yep, things will go wrong. I've had things happen. I've spilt water on my iPad at the very start of a show. That was a fun one. I've had my lights go out. I've had my internet go out. I've had my power go out. I've had pretty much everything possible happen. I've had trolls in the chat who have been saying offensive things and annoying people. So anything can go on. But the beautiful part is that I talk about this, and again, we're going to get a little bit into the psyche side here, but it helps expand out. Like there's the way that I look at it is, here's your comfort zone, right? It's a little ball. It's called your ball of comfort. And as you expand out that comfort zone, every time you do something, you stretch that out. So if this is your original comfort zone, and so let's say you hate public speaking, you can't even fathom the idea of going live. This was me, by the way. I hated public speaking. I was terrible at it. Hate public speaking. Don't want to go live. And then you do a little bit of it and the world doesn't end. Well, then your comfort zone comes out to here, yeah? And then you think, oh, that wasn't quite so bad. I'll do it again. And it goes out to here. And then you're like, well, that wasn't quite so bad. I'll do it again. See what I mean? You just keep expanding, and eventually your comfort zone is out here, because those little lizard almonds, that little fight or flight mechanism in your brain is pretty full on. But once it gets repetition and it gets reassured that things aren't actually as bad as it is trying to tell the actual thinking part of your brain that it is going to be, then guess what? You can do it. And that's, again, I want to bring all of this back to, I know we're here to say, yay, 5 years, and that's all cool. And I do thank you heaps for that, but I also want to bring it all back to the fact that if you are sitting on an idea, if you want to do something, if you're like, hey, I'm a truck driver by day, but I really want to sing karaoke live on the internet at night, sing bloody karaoke live on the internet at night. Don't worry about what a random stranger on the internet might think of you, that they might think your face looks weird, or they might think your voice is too nasal, or they might think you have really bad fashion sense. Don't worry about any of that. Just do it. Just live your best life. The only thing that you will regret is if you don't try, because if you try it and you fail, guess what? You've learnt. You've learnt not to do it again, or at least try it a few times. What does Jay Star say? So try things 3 times, because you might not do it right the first couple. But yeah, try things and you'll soon learn. You'll soon learn whether it's something you want to pursue or something not. But you'll only not know if you don't try. So give it a go. Have a crack. All right. Enough said. So yeah, as I was saying, the live stuff continued on, and we continued doing live shows, and now we have 3 live shows, because the final piece in the puzzle was that I wanted to give back to the community. I wanted to do a show where I played your music. Now, we'd experimented with this sort of stuff in GarageBand Weekly. We used to play a bit of music, but the technology wasn't quite there. The quality wasn't good. Ron Ward over on GBU Live, Ron and Brian would get together and do live listening to GarageBand songs. And I wanted to do something that was just for everyone. So if you created a song, create, record, release, yeah. I was doing lots for the creation, songwriting series and tutorials. I was doing a bit for the releasing, because I started doing videos, and I didn't mention it, but during 2019, I did my first sponsored video. That's when the relationship with DistroKid started. But I wasn't doing anything for like the sharing of music. So the creating and the recording and then the releasing. But then what about the promoting and the sharing and the getting out there in the community? So that's where Your Music Live started. And I don't think I put the first episode here. I meant to. No, I didn't. I meant to. So if we type my name and Your Music Live 1, let's see if we can find it. Yeah, there it is. Your Music Live episode 1. There's the highlights. In fact, let's take a quick look at. Oh no, I can't. See, I can't play it for the reasons I'll talk about in a moment because it's other people's music. But yeah, you can see there, Your Music Live. We started it 7 months ago. So a couple of months after all the things changed. And we are now at, what was it, 32? So episode 32 that we just shared. And when I started doing this, I wanted to do it and I thought, I'm going to do this anyway. But the challenge is, as you'd probably know, part of the income that I make on YouTube is advertising. So you may have watched an ad before you started watching this live stream. If you're watching on the replay, I'll try to make sure it doesn't put it. YouTube tends to put in a bunch of ads. I'll just put them every like half an hour or so. So I get to control where they go generally. Sometimes YouTube just tries to sneak them in. So yeah, you watch a 30-second ad or you skip it after 10 seconds, let's be honest, and then you get free content. So that's cool. The problem with Your Music Live was I couldn't monetize doing that. And it did actually spend a lot of time. I do a 2-hour show, and I probably spent 3 to 4 hours doing all of the emailing back and forth and the curating and the checking and making sure it wasn't just 15 F-bombs within the first 2 seconds. But I wanted to actually do this show. So I thought, I need a sponsor. And at that stage, I'd done maybe 3-4 sponsored videos for DistroKid. They originally reached out to me. I'd been using DistroKid for 2 years already, and I thought they were a really cool company. And then they reached out to me. I'm like, I'm fanboying out. I'm like, wow, DistroKid, know who I am. So I'm like, of course I will. And then, so I did those videos, and then I'm like, you know who this would be a perfect fit for? DistroKid. So I'm like, I just got to get out there and ask. And again, it comes back to what I was just saying. I didn't know that they would say yes, but I didn't know that they would say no either. And the only way to find out is to ask them. So I talked to my contact and I'm like, hey, I got an idea for you. How about this? I actually made a video. So I went to the effort. I'm like, I'm going to do this right. So I made a video. I'm like, hey, Mr. DistroKid. I won't say his name, but contact the DistroKid. I got an idea. I do this show. I've done 10 episodes of it. It's getting like 50 to 100 live viewers every week. Nearly 1,000 people watch it every week. We're showcasing independent artists. DistroKid want to get independent artists to release their music using DistroKid. Is this not a match made in heaven? And he said, yeah, it kind of is. And the rest is history. So now Your Music Live, sponsored by DistroKid every week. I get to do the show, I get to serve the community, and I get to keep the lights on. It's kind of win-win-win. So just wanted to tell that little story because, again, it's just, you never know. If you don't ask, you don't know. So don't be afraid to just get out there and ask. Push that comfort zone. And Mark's saying very kind things here. Says, it's another show I never miss. And Stu says, yeah, it was the first time that the Indigo Sunsets were on there. And Virus Infect was featured on the very first one, as was the Indigo Sunsets. So there you go. Russ is saying my favorite show on YouTube, YML, is how I listen to new music. Yeah, and hopefully it becomes that. A lot of people have said that it's become their radio station and it's become their way to delve in and try and find cool new independent artists. And there's heaps of them that I like Grove Teague, GT, Indigo Sunsets, Thomas Christ, Jade Starr, like Gary Hubbs. There's a heap of folks that I now follow and listen to their music. Like genuine, I'll walk around listening to their music because I heard them on the show. And I can only hope that other people do the same. There you go. Jade says, I remember telling Pete before his first episode that the show would go gangbusters. So get ready. And look, it was. And again, I tried it because I thought it would be a good idea. And I thought I would just try it and it worked. Other things I've tried haven't worked. I've done a bunch of series that haven't actually worked that well. And I won't go into details here, but it is important to learn from your failures and to learn what doesn't work as well as what does. So I don't do too many like big long 2-hour songwriting shows because not a lot of people are into those. But I do more of the Your Music Live stuff because more people, and it's not about doing things just because other people like them, but it's about prioritizing the things that both I enjoy and are actually going to help other people. Because if it's not helping anyone else and I'm having a blast, great. But you know what? I tend to do those over on Patreon where there's a smaller community of folks, or I'll share them on Create, Record, Release Facebook group where, again, it's a smaller community. I don't need to put that out to everyone. So it's about finding the balance of what goes where. Anyway. And there you go. Yeah, sign up with DistroKid. You will. If you use the link down in the description. Do I have it in the description of this one? I'll put it there afterwards. But yeah, you can go there. You can go to that link. And we've got Michael who says, yeah, you did. You wrote a song about it. And EdZ follows a few people from YML. Gary says it's my favorite show of the week by far. Yeah, and we'll keep doing it. It's a lot of fun, and I'll keep doing it as long as I possibly can. So that's what we've got now. I do that every week. We sit down and I get, and that's good for Iggsy. It kicks off your weekend. Yeah, it kicks off my weekend too. So Your Music Live is Saturday morning my time. I then do a home studio Q&A Sunday morning. I do Sunday afternoon. Excuse me. Sunday afternoon, need some lunch. Sunday afternoon, I do the happy hour. Monday morning, I do GarageBand Weekly. And it's 4 shows that we do every week. And by the way, if you do want to keep up to date with everything, studiolivetoday.com/email. That's the email mailing list that you can join. And no, it's not an email mailing list to get you into a sales funnel to start selling your stuff. It is a weekly newsletter, and it's mostly focused on what's going on here on the channel. All right, we are into the final section. It's the final section. We've only just sort of scratched the surface. Like I said, there is a heap of videos down below. If you want to go retro and you want to catch the full versions of all the videos that I've gone through here today, you can just follow the links down below, and that will take you to all the places. But I just wanted to shout out to a few folks who have definitely been part of the journey along the way, and just helped me and supported me and been there for everything that I've been doing. Now, I've already spoken to this man. He's probably tucked up in bed now because it would have been a late night, a late start for him. And that, of course, is my buddy Patrick from the GarageBand Guide. Yes, we've talked about Patrick a lot. He's got some cool videos. He's got his new Apple Silicon M1 Mac, his honest first impressions. A nice video there. I'll make sure I link that video. I'm catching up with Patrick later in the week. We're going to do a little video all about the M1 because he's got videos about the plugins you can use and the gear you can use. So we'll be picking Patrick's brain and talking about the M1 later in the year, later in the week. So make sure that you catch that one. It should be a lot of fun. Another creator that has just been an inspiration to me, and this creator probably taught me more than anyone to be yourself, because no one can be as good a Dan Baker as Dan Baker. Yeah. So Dan is just a testament to the fact that if you make it, they will come. Dan makes videos the way that he wants to make videos. Yeah, he does listen to his comments. Yeah, he does make videos that he knows people are looking for, but he doesn't sacrifice. He doesn't try to be like anyone else. He's the man in the van, and he tries to be just like the man in the van. So if you're not familiar with Dan Baker and you haven't checked out his channel, you must do it. Thank you, Ed Z. I appreciate you. 5 for 5. Yes, thank you, everyone. Like that's really humbling. The super chats you folks are throwing out there, really appreciate it. So thank you, because it's not required and not necessary, but it does certainly help. When I get to the end of the month and I say, can I keep doing this crazy caper of being a full-time music educator and content creator? Then I look back at all the people that have supported me and I say, yes, I can. Because of you. So thank you. Do appreciate you. Let's look at another channel here, shall we? We're going through the channels who have supported me and have helped me out along the way. Now, someone asked, and I don't even know the story. Maybe we need to talk. We need to work it out, Jay. We need to compare notes and find out exactly what the story was at the time and how we actually met. But Jade Star is in the house, and when I first started talking to Jade, she was creating music and she was sharing a lot of tips over on GarageBand users Facebook group, and she became a member of Create, Record, Release, and then eventually a moderator there. But a lot of folks were saying, Jade, how do I do this? Jade, how do I do that? And Jade started creating a few sort of tutorials and videos to share. And a lot of us were like, Jade, you need to share this knowledge. You have too much in your brain. Let your brain juices out into the world. And eventually she did. And she created this series called How to App on iOS. And every day since, she's at like episode 472 or something. But every day, Jade comes and she shares her knowledge, she shares her wisdom, and she shares another cool app. And that's gone from strength to strength over the last several months. And if you're not already subscribed, you totally need to, yeah? Do it. Do the things. Let's continue on now. Wouldn't be fair. Wouldn't be a review of the people that have supported me along the way if I didn't talk about this bloke. I mean, he's got a British accent and he lives in Perth. But apart from that, he's actually a decent bloke. And that is our buddy Mike over at Creative Source. So Mike and I didn't talk about it, but there is a link down below. In fact, we'll try and find one because I kind of skipped over 2019 a little bit. But let's just grab a little taste of me and Mike back in the days, back in the treadmill days. Me and Mike having a little bit of chat. If you've never caught Mike, this is how old this was. This was back in the days where we were using Google Hangouts instead of StreamYard. So the actual video would cut between us like this. So it was pretty interesting. Let's jump in and take a look and a listen to me and Mike having a wee bit of a banter. DAW.
I'll tell you, this is my first reason, Pete, and this is the bane of my life. I've probably spent millions of hours setting things up, installing drivers, installing software.
I actually kind of liked that. I slightly missed the Google Hangout style where they would just go between them. Yes, Creative Source, as Marasaya is saying here. Creative Source, Mike, my buddy over at Creative Source. If you haven't checked it out, especially if you're a creator that's he's a crazy man. You can see that. Especially if you're using a PC, he has a lot of stuff about Studio One. Is that what it's called? Persona Studio One and Cakewalk by BandLab. So he's got a lot of cool stuff over there. And yes, Jade. No, don't worry. We love you too, Jade. And Jade is the real MVP for sure. But yes, definitely do go and check out Jade. But do check out Cakewalk, Creative Source, and Mike over there at Creative Source. And he's up to like 65,000 subscribers now. Like he's gone nuts, completely nuts. So when he first reached out to me, I had maybe 20,000 subscribers on YouTube and he had like a couple of thousand. And then, he has absolutely crushed it. And John here says Creative Source played a big role in getting me into music. Very, very cool. And there is a link to Creative Source right there that Jade has dropped in the chat. Right. Now, there's a heap of other people that have been around the channel for a long time that have been super supportive, and I mentioned them all of our moderators here, all of the regulars. Hopefully, you've all been here and I've given you a shout out. We'll have a few more shout outs that I can see here that we'll get to right at the end. But someone else who has definitely been helping and has always been there behind the scenes, kind of the quiet achiever of the Studio Live Today community, and that's this guy here. That's Thomas Christ. So Tom Rochelle has been around for a long time, ever since I thought that he lived in Germany or in Europe somewhere, because there was a few other Thomases at the time, and he's like, I'm in Pittsburgh, Pete. Dude. But Tom is an inspiration because Tom has made something like 16 albums now. Finally had him on the channel the other day. But he's an absolute example of just create, record, release. Just keep creating, keep doing, keep practicing, keep trying, keep learning. And if you head over to his channel, you'll be able to check out all of his music, his new single there, and Chatting with Christ. You got the Thomas Christ Live. He does his weekly live shows. And again, he has just been going from strength to strength in recent times. So very, very cool stuff. There you go. In fact, I think it was actually Thomas Gillane, who is up in, correct me if I'm wrong, Thomas, Belgium. Definitely up in Europe. And I got confused between Thomas Gillane and Thomas Rochelle. Probably because Tom Rochelle did a bunch of industrial music, and for some reason I think of that as being a very European thing, that kind of industrial sound. So, but thank you very much, Tom, for being here and for all of your support. And there you go. Absolutely. Link yourself, Jade. You are integral. Jade Star. Just search for Jade Star with a double R. jadestar.com.au. Remember the AU, or it will be NSFW, right? Friggsy says, I'm one of Creative Source subscribers. Great info there on Cakewalk. Absolutely. And there you go. Thomas Gillane is indeed over in Belgium. So I got it right. I got something right. Delicious beer in Belgium. Love a Hogarten. I was at the casino the other day and they have the Hogarten White. And I said, yeah, I'll grab the Hogarten, please. And they brought it out in the large, have you seen these ones? These big, thick Hogarten glasses. It's only a pint, like it's an imperial pint, 570 ml. But it is huge. And I'm like, I walk over to the table. I asked them for a small beer, Georgie, and they gave me this. And it's like a bucket of beer. So yeah, love Belgian beer. And I love Belgian frites too. Like the fries with the mayonnaise. Oh, just divine. Getting hungry. Thank you, Silk B. I love you too. Thanks for being here. And there is Thomas Christ's channel as well that you can jump over to. And again, I know whenever I do these things where I shout out a bunch of people, I know there's people I've forgotten. I'm absolutely sure that someone's going to come to me and be like, knock, knock, knock. Excuse me, Pete. Remember me? I'll be like, oh no, I've left. I can't believe I didn't mention them. So if that's you, if you're unmentioned person that I forgot about, then thank you. Alrighty. Nick Butler, hello to you. Says congrats on the 5th anniversary. Thank you very much. Silk B says you taught me how to make album covers. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I've got, that's the thing. Different people have come in. So some came in because of the Canva tutorials about how to make album covers. Some came in because they were trying to release with DistroKid. Some folks came in because they were trying to connect up some gear to their iPhone or iPad. Some folks came in because of the GarageBand tutorials. So hopefully I'm finding different ways to engage and to interact with folks. And yes, of course, Bubba, I gave you a shout out because you are the norm of the community. If it's not Bubba, it's probably Mark. Mark or Bubba are the ones who are just here. They're here. They're propping up the bar. They got the elbow on the bar, and they're here all day, every day, here supporting the community and helping folks out. Alrighty, so where are we at? I'll just check my thing over here. So we've talked about them. Yells. So a couple of shout outs here as well to some places and some cool people that support us at those places. So one of those is the Create, Record, Release Facebook group. Now, if you're on Facebook and you're not a member of the Create, Record, Release group, you should be. Here's what it looks like. Create, Record, Release. Let's just zoom in on it. So we've got nearly 700 members of the Create, Record, Release group. Many of them are you folks, but if you're not a member of Create, Record, Release, jump over there right now. You can get there by going to createrecordrelease.com, and that will take you straight to Create, Record, Release group. The other Facebook group, you know what, we'll come off here because I'm going to start showing some weird stuff that's just on my Facebook page. is the GarageBand users Facebook group. So again, go to your Facebooks and go to GarageBand users. And look, I know I get told by people, they're like, I don't like Facebook. I don't want to use Facebook. That's cool, but just join. Block everyone else, doesn't matter, but join these forums and just talk about music, because you get things like Ron Ward and GBU Live. And if you don't watch GBU Live, I don't know what to tell you. You're missing out. So yeah, that's another cool place to go. And I mentioned it earlier, but if you are a songwriter and you want to be involved in a songwriting community with a bunch of other cool songwriters and contribute in monthly challenges about songwriting, well, guess what? You got to join this place. You got to join the Song Spark Songwriting and Composition Collective, which is the place to go if you are looking to share your music. So all of those are linked down in the description, so you can go and find those at your easiest convenience. One more thing I need to do in terms of shout-outs before we do, actually two more things. We'll do this and then we'll go and see if there's any final folks who have put something in the form that we've had linked down there in the chat all through. And that is to give all of my patrons a shout here, because there are wonderful folks. I'm going to come in here to my list of patrons. I know I've done this a few times before, but these are folks who have chosen to support me and who are paying at least $1 a month to support me on Patreon. And I'm going to read you in order of the newest patrons to the oldest. So the OGs are going to be at the end. We've got Mr. Dean Thomas. We've got Ed Zed, Bogart, Bob Marlett, Michael Hano, Joe Glenn, Andy Goldsby, Bradley Lascelle, Alex Backus, John Morbato, Fergal Riggs, better known as Frigsy, Gino Therese, Russ, Dr. Zorders, come on, we got to do it. Dr. Zorders, Mr. Steve Perry, we've got Josh Gates, Van Robertson, Dave Gale, Louis Oristo, Deep Gravity, Gary Hubbs, Benny Sandu, Tom Kuehl, RW, Rich Lovell, Baba needs to get some reverb. Baba. Lady Rudeline Straight. We've got Ayush. We've got Christian Jacobs, Caroline, Tim Thompson, Helena, Martin Hamat, Bob Pretorius. We've got Tersh. We've got Patrick Chandler. We've got Bill Acola, Stu Cash, Jade Star. Jade Star, Greg Kelway, James Hawken, Daniel Walk. It's not giving me the end of these. Andrew Woodhouse, Marcus. We've got Tobias, Scott, Stan Mandelid, and we've got Thomas Rochelle, and we've got Michael. Onto our other list, Sion, Mike Chervetnovic, Mobile Music Pro, Dave Fiano, Steve Dalbeck, Greg Hernandez, Steve P. Kirby, Case Vanderveer. We've got Cliff Chapman, Kurt Lorenz, Lars Ashkolt, Patrick Baird, and the OG Laurie Jude. So that just blows me away that all of you folks, all of you amazing 63 patrons over at patreon.com/PeteJohns, that you choose to support me. Again, warm and fuzzy all the way down in the cockles. Oh, Kim, you did miss most of it. I'm very sorry. But you can catch the replay. We're just at the end. Yeah, as Russ says, only a couple of hours behind Kim. But that's all right. The replay will be there for your viewing pleasure. Thomas Gillane says, we have lots of beers. I work at a grocery store and I just can't keep track of all the different... I know. We've got a cafe called the Belgian Beer Cafe here in Adelaide. And I go in there and they just say, would you like the menu? I don't know why they talk like that. They're just Adelaide people. Would you like the menu? And I look at it and I'm just like, whoom. It's just like, do I want the Left beers? Do I want the Hogarten? Do I want the... Forgotten all the other... They got a lot of really good beers. All right. Oh, let's continue on. Congratulations on 63. Yeah, 63 is just amazing. We're only just sort of past 50, and now we're like pushing up past 60. So thank you everyone for supporting me, and thank you to all the Patreons. Let's have a quick drink. And then we'll dive over and we'll see if we've got any. We've got a final few shout outs. So a final few folks who have put a shout out over on the page there. So I will close it off now because we are about to finish. So apologies if you want to say anything. It's not accepting responses anymore, but you can just drop something in the chat before we finish off. So the 5th anniversary shout-outs. We've got Scott, who we've just read. We will jump into the next one, which is from Gaza, Gary Hubbs. Gary Hubbs says, so in debt to you for what I've been able to learn from you, Pete. Found you searching for who had released music on iOS. Learned so much I joined you in that category. Here's to many more. Cheers, my friend. Here is to many more. Let's go Rangers. That's all I'm going to say about that. And give Jay back her lawnmower. That would be good. Stu Cash is in the house. Now, Stu, I forget. Your name's actually Cashmore, yeah? But I just call you Stu Cash. Did I start doing that? Probably. Says, Pete, you're an absolute legend. Thanks, mate. Congrats on 5 years, and thanks for all the vids, support, and shout-outs. I honestly don't think the Sunsets would exist without your channel. You're a top bloke. Well, as are you and Andy and everyone who's creating music. And again, it's all about you. You're the ones who are putting in the efforts, and hopefully if I can be the conduit, if I can just give you the shove, give you the kick in the ass that gets you creating and recording and releasing, then that's a good thing, yeah. That's me job done. And again, if I can pay the bills by doing it at the same time because of the support of you wonderful folks, then that's even better. So thank you, my friend. Russ 8889. Russ says, congrats on 5 years. Just wanted to say I'm 6 months new to the channel. Feels like you've been around forever, Russ. But I'm glad to meet you and Jade to help make me and so many other people make better music. It's a pleasure to spend my time on your channel. You're a good bloke, Pete, and all the best to you for another 5 years. Thank you, Russ, and likewise to you. And yeah, hopefully you can. I know, like everyone's going through some things, and I know Russ, you and your wife have been not separate. That sounds bad. You've been in different locations for a while, and yeah, hopefully for all of those that are going through challenges at the moment. Hopefully things come to an end and improve in the future. I know they will. It's just, it must be getting hard. Like the patience level must be waning because I know everyone's just like, just wait. It's like, waiting is the hardest part. SM Borthwick says, hi Pete, many congratulations to you, not just for your success on YouTube, but also gathering together this community of awesome musicians, right? Songtember 2019 led me to my first release. 1,000 thank yous for giving me that little push I needed. So yeah, there you go. SM Borthwick was one that I gave the kick in the butt that got started. And we didn't talk Songtember. I meant to. It's a big part of the channel and I didn't mention it. So we did mention that March 2018 we did the Creator Song Challenge, and then in 2019 we kicked off Songtember. So we did the Songtember Song of the Month Challenge. 2020 we did it again. And yeah, I meant to rant on that, but we're 2 minutes 10 in, 2 hours and 10 minutes in. There was only so much that I could rant on, yeah. But thank you, SM Borthwick, for your kind words. And last word's going to go to Empire Official. What have you got to say? I don't think that has anything to do with anything. I don't think that has anything to do with anything, so we'll leave that one alone. But thank you, everyone. Thank you for all of your, there you go, lawnmower hubs or the bear gets it. Again, I don't know what the whole deal is with the lawnmower thing. Thomas Gillane says, very thankful for your vids, Pete. Without you, I wouldn't have discovered what I can do with iPad, and I would have missed a wonderful community. This goes out to all you guys too. Yeah. out to all of you. Out to everyone that is watching here. I do appreciate you. And thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you to everyone who's been here. Let me check my notes. I reckon that we're done. Whoo, this has been a marathon. This has been talking about myself, not something that comes naturally to me, mind you, for 2 hours plus. But hopefully you've realized through the last 2 hours that this is all about the community and it's all about the people. I know that we focus on gear, we focus on technology, we focus on apps, we focus on Apple and the business side of things and whatever's going to do. I mean, I'm about to go and upgrade my Apple phone, so I'm going to have to go deal with Vodafone and deal with Apple and whatever. But it is really, like everything in life, it is more about people, and it's more about how you connect and engage with people than it is about anything else. And this is what I think, when I go, I'm doing a lot of clubhousing at the moment, so I'm on Clubhouse, and this is the thing that's frustrating and annoying me, is that everyone's talking about the what. They're not talking about the who. They're not talking about how they can actually serve people. They're talking about how they can serve themselves and through what they're actually doing. So I think hopefully through this community, we have brought together groups of people who are more intent on creating great music, but more than that, are intent on having communication and relationships with people to all grow together. As Jade says on her channel, we all rise together, and I believe so. Yeah, everyone starts at zero, and whether you're creating your first song or whether you're creating your 500th song, it doesn't matter. We all started at zero, and you have the power to create. I know I'm starting to sound like I need to be at the front giving a sermon, but you have the power to do what you want to do. You might not be the most talented person in the world. The first thing you create may suck big time. My stuff sucked. And again, I showed you that early stuff not to be self-deprecating and not to say, hey, look how bad I am, but just to say, that's where I came from. This is where I am. In 5 years' time, I'll be somewhere else. But you know what? I've learned a heck of a lot about myself. I've learned a heck about creating, and I've learned a heck of a lot about you folks. So I do thank you for all of that. There you go. Thank you, Bubba. Thank you for being here. Great trip down memory lane. And yeah, I'll blow out the candles here. I should have had a cake, shouldn't I? I'll have a virtual cake. There you go. Just pretend there was a cake over there. But thank you, everyone, for being here. I do appreciate you. You know what I say at the end of every show? I say this. I say, please be kind to yourself. Remember, don't fit your own oxygen mask before helping others, including children. Look after yourself. Please look after other folks. Be kind to other people, because you don't want to be that stranger on the internet that makes someone else's day bad. You want to be the good person that helps build them up and help get them creating. And finally, you. Keep creating, keep rocking on, keep being your cool selves. Until next time, I will see you around the traps. Please take care of yourself, folks. Bye for now.